Authorities are searching for the person who shot and killed a father of four in Chicago's West Town neighborhood. Community activist Andrew Holmes says a reward is being offered for information that helps find the gunman who took Aristeo Soriano's life.
Anyone that has surveillance footage, or even if you was out here and you seen it, just come forward. I mean, don't wait till it knock at your door. Let's knock at their door and get these people apprehended and in custody.
Police say Soriano was gunned down early yesterday in the 1300 block of West Huron Street, walking home from D'Amato's Bakery, a place where he worked for over 2 decades. Another business is being sued over the Cook County soda tax. A Chicago woman filed a lawsuit yesterday against 7-Eleven, claiming she was charged tax on an unsweetened coffee bought Monday at a store on South Dearborn. Mayor Emanuel predicting a new state law he shepherded through Springfield may save taxpayers in Chicago millions of dollars in debt payments. AM 560's David Stewart with the latest from the 5th floor at Chicago's City Hall.
Mayor Emanuel told the city's investors conference that city debt will be more attractive because a new law allows the city to create a new borrowing structure. It allows the city to borrow at lower rates because it will have a dedicated revenue stream, namely a portion of the city's share of the state sales tax.
It will create the revenue that's essential for the city to do the restructuring and rebalancing of its finances to create the certainty and stability essential for the economic growth of the city of Chicago.
Emanuel plans to use this so-called securitization structure to sell bonds to pay off $2.5 billion in old high-interest bond issues. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Democrats gathering in Chicago this week to slate candidates for 2018. Ahead of that slating, Democratic governor candidate J.B. Pritzker is set to announce he has a running mate for the 2018 nomination. The billionaire venture capitalist has chosen Illinois Representative Juliana Stratton. The Chicago Democrat was elected to the state house last year as Pritzker's running mate. Stratton will then have to bid for the lieutenant governor's job. The city of Chicago is planning to hire more staff after an investigation revealed the city doesn't have enough food inspectors. Follow-up audit released yesterday by Inspector General Joe Ferguson found that less than half of all Chicago restaurants were inspected the legal amount for food safety in 2015. The 40-year-old leader of one of Chicago's most violent street gangs, the Hobos, will learn if he'll spend the rest of his life in prison. Gregory Bowlegs Chester will be among the first members of the gang prosecutors called an all-star team of criminals to be sentenced today. Federal prosecutors want life for a conspiracy that includes 9 murders. Chester's attorney asked for 20 years. In Springfield, both houses in the General Assembly are poised to take some action next week on school funding reform. Just what action they will take, AM 560's David Stewart says Governor Rauner wants changes in a showdown with Illinois lawmakers over school finance, including making state funding fairer. Dozens of antique vehicles have been destroyed when a fire swept through a garage just outside the southern Illinois community of Staunton. Staunton Fire Protection Chief Rick Haas says about 1/3 of the building that served as Country Classic Cars showroom and warehouse was engulfed in flames when firefighters arrived. Firefighters from 13 departments had to tackle that blaze. Haas says the majority of personnel were used simply to ferry water to the site, which had no access to fire hydrants along I-55 due to its rural location. If you've driven to St. Louis, you have seen Country Classic Cars showroom many times. The owner there, Russ Noel, says 150 classic cars worth multi-millions of dollars were damaged or destroyed. Madison Bumgarner allowed 4 hits over 7 innings of work to win for the second time since returning from a dirt bike accident. Giants beat the Cubs 3-1. Tim Anderson homered and drove in 3. Miguel Gonzalez tossed 8 strong innings. And the White Sox beat the team with the best record in the AL, the Houston Astros, 7-1. And they go for the sweep this evening. And the Bears raise the curtain on preseason play tonight. The news service of Back to School Illinois. Back to School Illinois providing school supplies for children in need. And you can help by making a donation at any neighborhood currency exchange or at b2si.org. Back to School Illinois, working to improve educational opportunities for Illinois children. b2si.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This summer, everybody is talking about one person. And on August 22nd, we want to hear what you have to say about President Donald Trump. Join AM 560's Joe Walsh for the Summer of Trump as he welcomes Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson to the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Join the debate as they discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly moments of the Trump administration. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/summer. Sponsored in part by Storlock and by Best Dental Group.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Oh, I had my joints all ached. My sciatic nerve was really bad. Like 10 hours, my eyes were so tired and heavy and almost burning. And then when I woke up in the morning, there was this nagging pain. I mean, it hurt to open them. And just in a week, I don't have the nagging pain anymore. My joints stopped hurting, and I'm in wood season. I'm lugging wood right now, and I'm not hurting. So that's, amazing for me. I'm usually really suffering. It's pretty effective. And so now, like I said, my husband and I are both taking it, and he even said his joints aren't aching as much, and he's feeling better.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
There's a place where you can get custom metal products. If you manage a commercial kitchen, hotel, condo building, or food-grade manufacturing plant, then no matter the type of metal or size of the project, the skillfully trained fabrication team at Vans Industrial has you covered.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Custom metal fabrication is the backbone of my company. We fabricate stainless steel countertops, wall coverings, hoods, landscape planter boxes, industrial fan housings, and more. Vans Industrial uses all types of alloys like carbon steel, aluminum, brass, and polished stainless steel. And we have a laser cutting machine. Our laser can customize almost any project. Our team can design, fabricate, and install your project today.
Call 219-931-4881 today for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS industrial.com. Vans Industrial. Customizing for you, the customer.
5:10 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. We're expecting significant delays on Metro's Union Pacific Northwest line after an incident involving a freight train and a pedestrian in the Barrington area. This has Lake Zurich Road blocked between 14 and Cuba Road. CTA Blue Line trains are stopped right now at Rosemont due to police activity. Lakeshore Drive northbound north of Irving Park, there's a multi-vehicle crash, injuries involved, though the roadway is open. Oswego, there's a closure of Douglas Road, the area between Wolf and Woolley, due to a collision. The Edens is fine now. Overnight work is wrapped up. It's now delay-free. We have delays on the inbound Bishop Ford for about 5 minutes, starting at 103rd Street, 20 minutes, 8094 to the Rhine after some construction. The other expressways and tollways are okay now. Traffic in the service of Cabela's. It's fall, time for you to hit the woods. First, come to Cabela's Great Outdoor Days, special events and giveaways, plus doorbusters for 5 hours only, starting 8 a.m. Saturday, August 12th. Shop in-store and at Cabela's.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Let's not end summer so quickly.
Right.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center with our meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, a blend of sun and clouds, high 83. Tonight, partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm, low 66. Tomorrow, clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around, high 79. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Right now, 63 at O'Hare, 69 along the lakefront. This morning in Aurora, 58. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Are you sure your business is being seen online? Visit beingseen360.com to discover how being seen online can improve traffic, leads, and sales. beingseen360.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and it's a story of how Amy Jacobson got Ron Johnson in trouble.
No.
I don't know if he's going to come on the show anymore. Thanks a lot, Amy.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Yeah, it's all your fault.
We had Senator Ron Johnson on the show on Tuesday?
What day?
Monday. Tuesday.
Monday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday? What day is today? Today's Thursday already.
I had him on the show on Tuesday, and we asked him, because remember, we talked about it. He had this press conference with Lindsey Graham and John McCain before the Obamacare repeal vote that failed in the Senate, and I thought he was lost. Why is he on the dais with those two? And this was about skinny repeal not being sufficient, and those three senators wanting an assurance from the House that if they passed skinny repeal, it would go to conference and they'd work out the details, which Paul Ryan gave Johnson, McCain, and Graham. And then, so the question, of course, was, well, what happened? Why Johnson and Graham believed Paul Ryan's word and McCain did not? And that's when the trouble ensued. There seemed to be mistrust of Paul Ryan, that his commitment wasn't good enough for McCain, where it was good enough for you and for Graham.
Well, we did get a call from Paul, and he assured us that skinny repeal is not going to pass the House, and it would have to go to conference. Again, I'm not going to speak for John McCain. You know, he has a brain tumor right now. That vote occurred at 1:30 in the morning. Some of that might have factored in.
Really? I mean, he did, get out. He just had recovered from getting the brain tumor removed and then flew all the way to Washington, D.C. But you really think that played a factor in his judgment call?
Again, I don't know exactly what we really thought that. And again, I don't want to speak for any senator. I really thought John was going to vote yes to send that to conference at 10:30 at night. By about 1:30, he voted no. So you have to talk to John in terms of what was on his mind.
I mean, you're like the Connie Chung. Why don't you say whispered in my ear,
Well,
Senator?
hear what it sounded. This is what it sounded like this morning on CNN.
The Republican senator's theory of why John McCain voted against the Senate health care plan left even a radio host stunned.
He has a brain tumor right now. That vote occurred at 1:30 in the morning. Some of that might have factored in.
Really?
Wow, that's your new catchphrase.
Really?
Bart Simpson has Kawabunga. Eat my shorts, dude. You have, really.
Really? Yeah, and then CNN went on to do the story. Do you want to hear it?
No.
It's riveting. No?
Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson now expressing regret for his comments about fellow Republican John McCain. Johnson told a Chicago radio show that McCain's brain cancer may have played a role in his dramatic and decisive vote that derailed the Senate bill to repeal Obamacare.
I'm not going to speak for John McCain. You know, he has a brain tumor right now. That vote occurred at 1:30 in the morning. Some of that might have factored in.
You really think that played a factor in his judgment call?
Again, I don't know exactly what we really thought that. And again, I don't want to speak for any senator. I really thought John was going to vote yes to send that to conference at 10:30 at night. By about 1:30, he voted no. So you have to talk to John in terms of what was on his mind.
They edited it out.
Now,
Really?
McCain's spokesperson tells CNN that Johnson's comments were, quote, bizarre and deeply unfortunate. Johnson later walked back his remarks, saying the vote came at the end of a long day for everyone, and he should have more eloquently expressed his sympathy for what Senator McCain is going through.
Here's the thing, though. I don't believe John McCain's brain tumor played a role in his decision. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. He was making a dramatic return to Washington, and I give him credit. I know he's going through some health problems, but he even said to reporters on the way in, because they were asking him, how are you going to vote? And he said, you're going to want to stick around and see this. So he wasn't sleep deprived. He wasn't reeling from his brain tumor being removed. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Really?
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm getting the merchandising rights to that really question mark, exclamation.
Hashtag, really? Really? You're really going to like the weather forecast. Sorry. A blend of sun and clouds. A high today of 83 degrees. Then tonight, a shower or thunderstorm. That'll be nice. A low of 66. And for Friday, yes, Friday is around the corner. We're going to have some clouds with some sun, a shower or thunderstorm in spots. A little bit cooler, a high of 79 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Traffic's not so nice. A lot of problems in Barrington Lake. Zurich Road is blocked between 14 and Cuba after an earlier incident involving a pedestrian and a freight train. This is likely to cause significant delays on Metra's Union Pacific Northwest line. CTA Blue Line trains have some residual delays. The Forest Park-bound side at Rosemont, there was some earlier police activity there. South side, that multi-alarm fire still blazing. The 800 block of West 53rd Place, staging nearby 53rd and Holsted. A nasty crash on northbound Lakeshore Drive north of Irving Park. Injuries involved. Though the roadway is open, we're not seeing significant delays. There is a big jam on inbound I-57. Overnight roadwork is still clearing. The delay is from 107th to the Ryan, 35 minutes from I-80 to the merge already. Bishopford Heavy 2 with 27 minutes. Travel time from 8094 to the merge. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show. Podcast of our Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics that airs on these airwaves Sundays at 3 p.m. Long-form interviews with opinion leaders and policymakers in our Against the Current series. Man on the Street interviews in our Follow the Logic segments. This week featuring people seeing if they can follow the logic on the proposals for single-payer health care in the United States in the wake of the Charlie Gard case and other such examples of state-run health care, as well as 60 seconds of sanity commentaries from yours truly, 2-minute warnings from Pat Hughes, the Illinois Opportunity Project, on bad actors in public office in Illinois, and our new series, Heart of the Matter, that focuses or features professional women speaking colleague to colleague about the salient issues of the day. You can get it all if you check out upstream-ideas.com.
Hi, this is Jeff from Basement Flood Protector. We have the pleasure of protecting over 25,000 of your homes with our innovative and proven line of protection solutions. Our customers enjoy peace of mind knowing their homes are safe regardless of weather conditions. They enjoy peace of mind knowing our solutions provide the early warning mechanisms required to fend off problems in advance. And they enjoy peace of mind knowing when called upon, our solutions will come to the forefront and operate as expected. Have you ever received an email or phone call from your sump pump warning you of an error or potential problem? Our customers have. Like us, our customers believe technology does not have to end at the top of the basement stairs, and they rely on our technology to protect their personal belongings that they care so deeply about. We are Basement Flood Protector. Protecting homes from flooding is all we do. I invite you to call today at 800-238-0822 or visit don'tflood.com to learn more and for no-nonsense pricing. That's 800-238-0822 or don'tflood.com. Use the call letters of this station for a 5% discount.
Gentlemen, if you've been thinking about treatment for low testosterone, be sure to do your homework and go to a medical provider that you can trust that specializes in testosterone therapy. That's why I went to Low T Center to get my levels checked. It was quick and easy, and now they have a great new location in downtown Chicago right on the Mag Mile. If you've noticed a decline in energy, stamina, or motivation, you may have low testosterone. Low T levels make you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol, and even cause weight gain. At Low T Center, service is covered by most health insurance. You'll find out your results in minutes. So, guys, if you've been thinking about treatment for low testosterone, choose my friends at Low T Center, now with a location in downtown Chicago on the Mag Mile, 625 North Michigan Avenue. You can get a checkup and then go get a burger at RL. You know,
that's a nice little day plan.
Yeah, it'd be a nice little Saturday.
What were your numbers?
Call 312.
Hello.
What?
Your testosterone numbers.
Asking that question is a violation of HIPAA laws, and I'm going to have you prosecuted. The number 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's me. That the number 312-239-3427. Call now or visit lowtcenter.com.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. We all know increasing revenue's tough, but did you know that 100% of main sources of income fail? The odds are 100% that your current main source of income will someday no longer exist. 439 of 1955's original Fortune 500 are no longer around, yet their industries and even their product lines still thrive. What happened to these companies? Simple. They didn't believe that 100% of main sources of income fail. They never added a second revenue model. For years, my friends at Income Store have helped both households and businesses build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Go to IncomeStore.com today. That's IncomeStore.com.
AM 560, The Answer. Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity. Right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Fired Google software engineer James Damore.
That's Damore.
Like a big pizza pie. He gave his first interview since his termination to a podcaster named Stefan Molyneux, who is a, how do I describe him? He's like a anarcho-capitalist tech entrepreneur and a podcaster.
Sounds like a hot mess, but okay.
No, libertarian-ish.
He does what he does. All right.
So an extended interview, about 45 minutes.
Wow. Any regrets?
He's had a few. So here's what prompted him. There's a lot here. It's very interesting. I mean, this guy is, well, listen, you make your own judgment.
Okay.
The kind of impetus for him to write that 10-page argument that he wrote. It wasn't a screed. It was, despite the fact in iterations that made their way around the internet, there were redactions, citations were removed, the charts and that provided substantiation for the contentions he was making were removed. But this was a well-cited, well-thought-out argument that he made based on a number of things, and including his experience at Google. So what was the impetus for him to do it?
Yeah, so I guess in general, I just really like understanding things. And recently I've, through interactions with different people, I've noticed just how different political ideologies sort of divide us in many ways. And what I wanted to understand what was behind all that.
Racist.
Yeah, sexist.
That guy's a monster. Did you hear that?
I'm scared, Dan. I need a safe space.
He wanted to understand the differences, the ideological differences that divide us. I mean, like Hitler, Stalin, Pol Pot,
Mussolini,
James Damore. The same sentence.
It's not as if he's telling me something I don't already know.
He's a war criminal is what he is.
Gitmo, are you thinking?
Here's
waterboarding.
Here's what Damore said in terms of extending this issue that he identified that he wanted to think about and opine about.
I could see that all of us are really blind to the other side. And so in these environments where everyone is just in the same echo chamber, just talking to themselves, then they're totally blind to so many things. And we really need both sides to be talking to each other about these things.
Have you ever heard such hate mongering? The guy's unhinged. He a maniac.
I think he needs counseling.
How did somebody
He sounds very reasonable. Okay.
Had academic stints doing research at MIT and Princeton? I mean, how does he get through those highbrow institutions with this kind of hateful rhetoric? Have you ever heard such a thing?
Did he really say that? I mean, really? Really?
He then goes on to talk about, so that was kind of where it started, and then the impetus to write a memo.
I'm interested to hear this, why he...
So I went to a diversity program at Google, and it was all, it wasn't recorded at all. It was totally secretive. And, I heard things that I definitely disagreed with in some of our programs. And so I had some discussions with people there, but there was a lot of just shaming and, no, you can't say that. That's sexist. You can't do this. And there's just so much hypocrisy in a lot of the things that they're saying. But so I decided to create the document just, to clarify my thoughts. And also, I had to fly to China for work. So I had a 12-hour flight to fill my time with. So that was one motivation.
I hope they had security remove him from the premises.
The guy's out of his mind, isn't he? Where do you come up with this stuff, James Damore? Is he even speaking the same language as us? This is crazy talk.
I wonder what happened in that diversity train.
Oh.
Diversity. Diversity.
Yes.
What in the hell's diversity?
Well, I could be wrong, but I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era.
Yeah. That kind of parroting, also not allowed at Google.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. We're not supposed to have fun.
What's the reaction been like?
Oh, yeah.
What's the reaction? What been
Fruit
like
basket?
for Damore?
Yeah, it's definitely been hard to sleep. Especially early on, I was responding to comments from people in Australia and Europe. So I was staying up until like 5 a.m. But it still hasn't truly hit me, the enormity of it all.
So in terms of him trying to deal with the international reactions.
Again, that's when they don't care about you. They just care to know about you.
Yes.
That's when you got to separate yourself, unplug, and just let it sink in.
But
that you don't have a job.
The hysterical op-ed writers is one category of reaction. There's another quieter category of reaction too that Damore discussed.
Yeah, so it's surprising. There may be a lot of negative responses in the public, but very few of them actually send me messages because they just want to, virtue signal to all their followers that, hey, I'm a great person, I share your morals, and this person is bad. But they don't want to actually have a debate on why I'm wrong or even confront me. They just want to show how self-righteous they are. And so in contrast, I've gotten a ton of personal messages of support, which has been really nice. And I got that before at Google before all of this leaked.
Yeah, and it's interesting. He notes that this is a memo that he wrote about a month ago, shared with some of his colleagues at Google who have some of the same concerns and see some of the same idiocy that he sees. And it was not really in controversy until it leaked out, and then it was upper management at Google that dropped the hammer, not his colleagues. He wasn't making the space unsafe for people because he put together a science-based argument in response to the politically correct echo chamber in which he worked. Well, we'll have more on Damore all morning. There's a lot of interesting stuff there.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Watch The Red Pill. Amy did.
I sure did. And guess what? The Mooch is back. He's going to be making an appearance soon. We'll tell you where and with whom. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
63 degrees. We have partly cloudy skies this morning. North Korea making plans against the U.S. island territory of Guam, they say, as the country's state-run news agency posted an outline of a possible firing of ballistic missiles into the waters off Guam that contain U.S. military bases. State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert says the U.S. government really is speaking with one voice on North Korea.
The United States, along with other nations, condemn North Korea for their destabilizing activities. They've continued to take part of that.
In a briefing yesterday, Nauert dismissed speculation about somewhat different messages coming out of the Trump administration. President Trump's directive to prohibit transgender individuals in the U.S. military is being challenged. A lawsuit has been filed by 5 transgender active duty military members to try and block that plan. One of President Trump's top aides is criticizing Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell for recent comments about the lack of legislative accomplishments.
Our new president had, of course, not been in this line of work before, and I think had excessive expectations about how quickly things happen in the democratic process.
Speaking in his home state of Kentucky last night, McConnell blamed President Trump and others for setting early timelines for getting big things done. There's a hearing today for 16 members of a Penn State fraternity. They're charged in the hazing death of a pledge, and they're back before a judge today. The fourth day of a hearing to determine if there is enough evidence to allow prosecutors to go forward. 19-year-old pledge Timothy Piazza died following a fraternity party after suffering critical injuries while tumbling downstairs. Here in Chicago, crews are battling a massive blaze on the south side. The fire began early this morning inside two vacant buildings near 53rd Place and Peoria. Another business is being sued over the Cook County soda tax. A Chicago woman filed lawsuit yesterday against 7-Eleven. Today is the 40th anniversary of the arrest of David Berkowitz. You may know him as the son of Sam. On this day in 1977, police arrested Berkowitz for shooting 13 in New York City, 6 of whom died. Berkowitz continues to serve a more than 300-year sentence behind bars. Giants over the Cubs, 3-1. Tim Anderson homered and drove in 3 as the White Sox beat the Astros 7-1. And the Bears are back tonight, raising the curtain on Mitch Trubisky and preseason play tonight. The news service of Geico Chicago. Hey, Chicago, Geico has even more ways to save you money. Your local Geico agent is ready to deliver the personal service you need with the savings you love. 773-582-AUTO. 773-582-AUTO for your local Geico agent. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is onto the game from the media.
I turned on that insufferable Don Lemon last night. He's sitting there with his panel of Gloria Borger types, and they're all guffawing and laughing at Trump talking to the New York Times. Well, wait a minute. Every other night I turn on CNN, they're mad at him for not talking to the Times. So which is it? It's proof, of course, that they're not objective. It's a big game to them.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Come to Cabela's Great Outdoor Days with special events and giveaways, plus doorbusters for 5 hours only, starting 8 a.m. Saturday, August 12th. Shop in-store and at Cabela's.com.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
5:35 and a check of your morning commute. The Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Got some problems in Barrington after an incident involving a pedestrian and a freight train. Lake Zurich Road is closed between 14 and Cuba Road. Going to have delays on Metro's Union Pacific Northwest line, expecting delays up to an hour in each direction. Oswego Douglas Road remains closed, Wolf and Woolley after an overnight crash. South side of Chicago, firefighters have extinguished a multi-alarm fire, the 800 block of West 53rd Place. Still a lot of activity, though, there. Staging at 53rd and Folstead. Edens, Kennedy, and Eisenhower fine. Stevenson, Little Heavy, Cicero to Kedzie. Inbound Ryan delays start at 31st. 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Big jam on inbound I-57 starting at 119th with overnight roadwork clearing late. 41 minutes from I-80 to the Ryan. Bishop Ford, 29 minutes. Traffic, service of Jewel Osco. Shop Jewel Osco's big 4-day sale and save on 6-ounce Atlantic salmon portions. Just $3.49 each. Northwest sweet red cherries are only $1.49 a pound. And select varieties of Fritos or Cheetos are just $1.78 each. Limit 4. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A blend of sun and clouds will top out at 83 today. Partly cloudy. There is a chance of a shower or thunderstorm overnight, especially in the far western suburbs. A low of 66. 63 right now. Next news at 6, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, this documentary, The Red Pill, theredpillmovie.com is the website. I watched it on Amazon, so I know you can get it on Amazon.
Yeah, and it's also was released on DVD and Blu-ray.
So this young filmmaker, she's done other documentaries after doing a stint as an actress. Her name's Cassie J. She begins the film describing herself as a feminist. That's how she refers to herself. And she's setting out to do a documentary on MRAs, men's rights activists. These small groups that have sprung up around the country, also online communities.
It's all over the world.
Okay. Yeah. She wanted to expose them, because of from the feminist perspective. But something happened along the way as she actually interviewed a number of authors that are some of the kind of leading intellectual lights of the men's rights movement. Warren Farrell is one who is a psychologist, licensed psychologist, who wrote a book about 25 years ago called The Myth of Male Power, and then subsequently a number of other books that, interestingly, alienated him from the women's rights movement, which he was a part of at its infancy.
At its peak, yeah.
With Gloria Steinem, he was a feminist speaker on campus.
He was a male feminist
until he started writing these books and filling in the complete picture. He didn't become antagonistic towards feminism per se. He was telling another part of the story of male-female interaction.
He was exploring other areas, and then he was ostracized from the feminist movement completely.
So we talk about it. We've talked about a number of things that are brought up in the documentary on this show. So, for example, when it comes to and this is relevant to the Google conversation too, talking about, trying to get our minds around what explains the different population distributions in different professions. So 80% of computer science majors are men. Does it necessarily mean that women are being discriminated against, or there's a hostile environment in computer geek land for women? No, not necessarily. The flip side, and this is one of the stories we do all the day, all the time, every year. Mark Perry over at Carpe Diem blog does a great job documenting it. Occupational fatalities. 93% of people killed on the job are men.
Yeah, because they're doing professions that women don't do, such as coal miners, such as truck drivers, such as loggers, electricians. It goes on and on and on.
Right, and so does that mean that we need to have more women killed at their workplace to even it out, so it represents the distribution of men and women in the workplace? Of course not. That's silly. But it's just as silly to say we need to force an even distribution across other professional choices, or to ascribe bias as necessarily the reason and sole reason, the patriarchy, the sole reason that there are differences in the incidence of men and women appearing in different professions, appearing in different academic pursuits, and salary, lifetime salaries, and all those things that are easily explained by looking at a multitude of variables, including how men and women are wired, and they're wired differently.
And it also, dove into the court system and when it comes to custody battles and how it affected certain people. She spoke with a father's rights attorney who, he even started crying during the interview when he was talking about one of his clients who was so desperate because the rate of suicide among men is much higher than the rate of suicide among women.
75% of suicides are men. So again, do we need to even that out? Do we need to encourage more women to commit suicide? Of course not.
Men have to sign up for selective service. Women do not.
Right, and they play the famous clip of Hillary Clinton
my
on
gosh.
that Anderson Cooper CNN town hall during the campaign where, it's all women, equal. Well, should they have to equally be forced to sign up for selective service? And she hedges and
she dodged
and
the
then I think everybody should equally
register to vote when they're 18.
Yeah, I mean,
it was so stupid how she dodged the question.
So there's it's really interesting, this documentary, and I give this young filmmaker, she's in her early 30s, Cassie J, a lot of credit because she sort of went where the facts and the evidence and the arguments led. She was she's persuasive because she was open to being persuaded.
And she did video blogs about about her thoughts at the end of the day. I mean, she interviewed these men for a year, and her perspective on feminists and the men's rights movement completely changed. And I loved it because she didn't insert herself too much, but the fact that she was, labeled and called herself a feminist added, I think, to the documentary.
The other aspect of this that was interesting, and I didn't know as much about, but certainly the incidence of spousal abuse where it's women abusing men.
Yeah, 1 in 3 women get abused, but people don't realize that 1 in 4 men get abused. And there was this one scene where they showed this woman, it was a reenactment, but how she would beat up her husband once or twice a week, and she would be throwing dishes at him and plates and breaking things in the house so badly that he went outside the house because he didn't want the neighbors to think that he was beating her up. So I sent this information to 2 men that I know that I think that they're in abusive relationships where they're not the abuser, they're the victims.
And another aspect of this was the number of women, the number of domestic violence shelters. There's 2,000 in the United States. There is 1 that accepts men.
And that's in Arkansas.
Right. So 1,999 of the 2,000 do not accept men. And an attorney who's interviewed, who's part of the quote unquote men's rights movement. He's an MRA, is the term, men's rights activist. He points out, well, look, 50% of the tax dollars that are used to support these domestic violence shelters come from men. So why shouldn't men have access to them if they're truly being abused? And in addition to that, it's not just they're being abused because they're being physically overwhelmed by their wives. It's they're being abused and they can't respond because of how, of course, police are going to react if the attorneys who've had experience in these cases talk about it. Police telling a guy whose wife stabbed him, if we come over there and she has so much as a hangnail, you're going to jail. The fact that you have a puncture wound in your chest. Here's the thing that was really interesting about this. It's very even-handed, and it doesn't swing the pendulum all the way over to this idea, well, it should all be about men and not about women. It's men to the exclusion of women. No, it's just saying, what are we doing here? Is this a fair system? Are men being treated fairly? And the interesting thing is the honey badgers.
Oh yeah, I love the honey badgers. Those are women who support men's rights activists.
Who are just what they really support is fair play.
Right.
And so they look at these stories, these incidents, the data, and they said, yeah, you know what, that's not fair. And hey, I may be interested in men, in case like I have a son or how my father's treated or the men in my life. And so just as people say, well, our daughters and our mothers and our sisters, and we care about the women in our life. Well, the converse of that's true. So you can have women that engage in defense of fair play for men. And so it's a fascinating documentary. The Red Pill, theredpillmovie.com is the website. And as I said, you can get it on Amazon. But I really
we play
encourage
some of the
it.
trailer? because this will make you want to see this documentary.
1 in 3 American women
and equal rights for women in the United States
have been found guilty of raping a West Virginia teenager.
Misogynist rantings would be at home in the far-reaching internet subculture widely described as the men's rights movement.
Declaring the month of October to be Bash a Violent Month.
I decided to go where no feminist has gone before and meet these men's rights activists.
Men and boys are in crisis and they need your support because they are human beings too. And you will not shame anybody here into silence about it anymore.
Every society survived based on its ability to train its sons to be disposable.
The U.S. government does not want to send you to die. They would rather send me to die.
93% of workplace fatalities are men. 4 of 5 suicides.
The family court system truly is biased against men. I mean, there's just no question about it.
How can anybody not be angered by it? But if you start to talk about those issues, people get hostile.
You are f***ing scum.
We're somehow disempowered because we're white men. Maybe it's just because you're pathetic.
The paradigm that most people live by. Men have all the power. Women don't make the same money for the same work. That is feminist training.
So you get the picture, but it's so well put together.
Yeah,
and it flows so beautifully. And I love the last line of the movie, which I'm not going to give away. But
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Right. Yes, I do. So one other thing that's interesting there, because this is culture, right? How we deal with these issues, these male-female issues, who we place value on and who we don't. And one of the honey badgers, so this is a female men's rights activist, she talks about Boko Haram and the bring back our girls campaign.
Yeah.
And she mentions, and then to her credit, the documentarian goes through and pulls clips, how Boko Haram was not on, the kind of the general public's radar as this terrorist organization when they were murdering boys
by the hundreds.
They would, and how it was reported when it was all literally burning school-age boys to death. Go through a village, just rapaciously pillage a village and burn children to death, but boys, because they didn't want them to be Western educated. I mean, remember, it was Michelle Obama and the left always saying, well, they're trying to prevent women from being Western educated and so forth. They're trying to prevent everybody from being Western educated. When they would kill men and boys,
it never made the news in America.
It made news. People died. 145 people died. Gender not identified. And so they weren't getting the attention that they wanted until they kidnapped the girls.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got all the attention that they desired. The point for Boko Haram was to generate attention for recruiting purposes. So they could slaughter the boys, and it didn't generate a lot of attention.
Yeah.
They kidnapped the girls, and you had got everybody, you got the President of the United States and the First Lady and Ellen DeGeneres and all of the, iconic celebrities and personalities across the board, not just of the left, but across the board, engaging the Bring Back the Girls campaign. And of course, that's great. We don't want girls to be kidnapped or abused either. But her point was, when you treat one group of people, women, as valuable, and you treat another group of people, young boys and men, as disposable. We do it here, and then we project that disposition onto international stories as well. And I thought the Boko Haram example that she provided was really insightful. Kind of made me think more about the coverage of these not those issues, because
I never even knew that was happening.
But coverage of male-female issues, how men and women are treated, and you hear it in the trailer about the disposable nature of it all. Again, of course, through our wars of the last half century, 95 to 99.9% of the fatalities are men. Do we want to even that out? Is that what this is all about? Making everything reflective of the distribution in the population? Or is it being sensible and recognizing different wiring and recognizing different choices and respecting all of the above? the documentary poses a lot of questions for reflection. Really, really good. The Red Pill and the redpillmovie.com. You should check it out.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. On AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance. But they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit automatedsys.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or automatedsys.com.
ChicagoRadioDeals.com can help you spiff up your home and auto. Wash away the road grime and dirt with a great deal from Fuller's Car Wash of Elk Grove Village. A full-service car wash package includes a wash, vacuum windows, and dash wipe down. An $18 deal for only $10. Give your home the clean it needs with an excellent deal from the Grout Medic of LaGrange. The Grout Medic offers a shower touch-up that includes a steam clean of your shower tile and grout. Or choose a clean and color seal floor package for your kitchen or bathroom. Each deal is $110. That's a $250 value. And shop at a great local hardware store with personal customer service. Purchase the Addison Building Materials $100 gift certificate for only $50. Addison Building Materials is a true value retailer. So tackle your home improvement projects with help from your friends at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm 75 years old, and I don't eat enough vegetables or fruit. And this is a great thing to do. And it seems that I have more energy. It seems that I take that, and I take a lot of blood pressure pills and what do you call it, cholesterol. But my doctor tells me, he said, no, you might cut the dosage down on your pills because what are you taking? I said, Balance of Nature. He said he didn't know what it was, so I told him, I said it's fruits and vegetables condensed into little pill form. He goes, well, whatever it is, it's doing you a lot of good.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
All right, I have to admit it was an eyesore. The chipping and paint peeling on our front and back porch, it looked awful. But thanks to CertaPro painters, the porch looks brand new. The painters who showed up were professional, respectful. They were done in just a few hours, and when they left, the house looked brand new. They really are the best in the business, and it's not too late to book your exterior painting project. There are several spots open on CertaPro's summer schedule. Here's an idea. Let CertaPro painters transform your home while you're on vacation and return to a freshly painted house. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary this year, and so we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. For a free estimate, call 1-800-GO-CERTA, C-E-R-T-A, or visit CertaPro.com, that's Certa with the C. Get that painting project off your to-do list. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
Schrank Smoke & Gun is excited to announce their zero tax deal for all store-owned firearms, ammo, and accessories in August. The price you see is the price you pay. Plus, AM 560 listeners get a free box of range ammo with all firearm purchases. You already know Schrank's has Lake County's largest selection of new, used, and consignment pistols, rifles, shotguns, ammo, and full gunsmith services. And that in Schrank's humidors you'll find a great selection of your favorite cigars. But this August offer is huge. advantage. Zero tax on all firearms, ammos, accessories, and a free box of range ammo when you purchase a firearm. Find out for yourself why Schrank's is the firearm store generations of customers trust. Visit gun.org or call 877-662-4034. Like Schrank's on Facebook and keep up with Schrank's valuable series of employee product and service recommendations. Schrank's Smoke and Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964.
5:57, a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Like River North, heading from that area to the Kennedy Expressway on the Ontario feeder. Got a crash blocking 2 left lanes. The main lanes of the Kennedy are fine. Eden's clear. About Eisenhower. 31 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 29. Stevenson, 43 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound it's clear. Ryan is 24 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57. 37 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop 422. The tollways are looking good right now. Northbound Tri-State just a little heavy approaching 290. Traffic is a service of Dove Men Plus Care. Hear that 91% of guys that use Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant recommended. Dove Men Plus Care user Bobby said he doesn't know how it works, but it gets the job done. Sounds good, Bobby. Pick up some new Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant for yourself at your local retailer. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, we get the latest with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Sun and clouds today, high 83, then becoming partly cloudy tonight with a shower or thunderstorm, low 66. A mix of clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around during the day tomorrow, high 79. A mainly clear night, low tomorrow night, 62. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 63. The news, a service of LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, U.S.-based specialists can work to fix it. Go to lifelock.com now, promo code RISK to save 10%. 5:59 on AM 560, The Answer. Here are the stories we're following in the newsroom at this hour. Crews battling a massive blaze on Chicago's South Side. It's happening right now near 53rd Place and Peoria. Authorities on the search for the person who shot and killed a father of 4 in Chicago's Westtown neighborhood. Democratic gubernatorial candidate J.B. Pritzker is set to announce today his running mate for the 2018 nomination. Illinois officials conducting more routine inspections of all of the rides at the 2017 State Fair to ensure safety in operation. Giants defeat the Cubs 3-1, while the White Sox beat the Astros 7-1. Currently 63 more Dan and Amy after Fox, WIND, Chicago News Time, 6.
He's senile and bereft of reason. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what a North Korean general says about President Trump following his fire and fury warning. North Korea also has today detailed a plan to fire 4 ballistic missiles toward Guam later this month, making some in the U.S. territory nervous. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, there are about 200,000 American citizens living in Guam and the Northern Marianas, Kim Jong-un's bullseye. But Guam Governor Eddie Calvo told Fox's Tucker Carlson there's no heightened threat on the island and they're going about their normal lives.
Obviously, for our administration and for the people of Guam, there is concern and worry, but there's no panic.
Japan and South Korea are vowing strong reaction if the North were to go through with plans to fire missiles in the middle of this month. Dave.
Rachel, a U.S. Navy warship has sailed within 12 nautical miles of one of China's man-made islands in the South China Sea, in yet another challenge to China's claim of holding territorial rights in that area the U.S. considers international waters. We're learning more about the suspected terrorist who attacked soldiers in France yesterday. Fox's Simon Owen live in our European bureau.
Dave, the suspect identified unofficially as a 37-year-old Algerian man named Hamou Ben Latreche, who was living legally in France. He was known to police over minor crimes, but had never been convicted in court. He's in custody now, accused of ramming a car into a group of soldiers as they left their barracks in a Paris suburb. 6 were injured. The suspect arrested hours later after police opened fire on his car on a highway. Dave?
Simon, 2 white Arkansas police officers are off the hook in the deadly shooting of a black teenager last month in Marion. The prosecutor won't charge them.
Dude, step away.
saying just released dashcam video shows they ordered and encouraged the teen to drop a BB gun that looked like a real handgun, but he didn't.
All I want to do is talk to you. We ain't here to hurt you. We're here to help you.
And the cop shot the 16-year-old. His family calls the decision unfair and unreasonable, starting their own independent investigation. Fox News, fair and balanced.
This summer, everybody is talking about one person. And on August 22nd, we want to hear what you have to say about President Donald Trump. Join AM 560's Joe Walsh for the Summer of Trump as he welcomes Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson to the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Join the debate as they discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly moments of the Trump administration. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/summer. Sponsored in part by Storlock and by Best Dental Group.
Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling that you're safe to enjoy the things that matter most. ADT lets you take that feeling with you, whether you're at home, your business, or online. We help keep you safe with security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling for less than $1 a day. ADT, home, safe home.
You started your business because you have something special to offer, and you want customers to know it from the moment you hand them your card. That's why now is the time to go to Vistaprint.com to get 500 customized, high-quality business cards starting at just $9.99. Choose everything about your card with thousands of customizable designs for every industry, and our support specialist standing by to help. Head to Vistaprint.com to get 500 business cards starting at $9.99. Use promo code 6655 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 6655.
The number one fear amongst retirees today is running out of money in retirement. And that's with good reason, because the last thing you want to be is 75 years old, full of life, and flat broke. Hi, this is Tom Fortino, host of the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard every Saturday at 9 a.m. here on AM 560. Today, we're living longer than ever before, so your retirement savings has to last 2, 3, even 4 decades. So how do you safely generate more income in retirement without risking everything you've worked for in the stock market? And what can you do to help ensure you never run out of money in retirement? The answer's in our free retirement income planning packet. It's packed full of little-known strategies on how to generate income in retirement, getting the most from Social Security, minimize taxes, and reduce the risk of outliving your income. You don't need to take unnecessary risks to generate income in retirement, and I'll prove it to you. You have a lot more options to generate income in retirement. You just didn't know they existed until now. Call the Alpha Wealth Group, 630-519-4742 right now to receive your free report. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
There's a really good reason why MyPillow continues to be an important sponsor of our show. It's because our listeners continue to buy MyPillows. Now, I hope you're having a great summer, but if you don't already sleep on a MyPillow, August can be even better. By using the promo code Amy, you'll get the absolute best deal available anywhere. It's the 50% discount on a MyPillow 4-pack, including 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. You can move the fill to give you the exact support you need, regardless if you sleep on your back or stomach. You'll sleep deep and won't wake up to a stiff neck or headache. Our friend Mike Lindell manufactures them in America using only American labor. The best part, you can wash them and dry them. They're hypoallergenic, and you'll get the 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. In August, get your 50% off the 4-pack by calling 800-489-0201 and use the promo code Amy, or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
Are you sure your business is being seen online? Visit beingseen360.com to discover how being seen online can improve traffic, leads, and sales. beingseen360.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Is the left more open-minded and the right more conscientious? Is that what the science says? Or is that just... And again, this is across the divide and the two categories of individual, at least by that measurement. This is in part what James Damore had to suggest in the dissertation on diversity that he wrote. James Damore, the fired Google software engineer for making a science-based, logic-driven argument about diversity in the workplace. He gave his first interview, extended 45 minutes yesterday, with a podcaster named Stefan Molyneux, and he explained what he was trying to accomplish. Did James Hitler, Stalin, Damore?
Yeah, so I guess in general, I just really like understanding things, and recently I've, through interactions with different people, I've noticed just how different political ideologies sort of divide us in many ways. And what I wanted to understand what was behind all of that.
In my experience, I went to a bunch of Canadian universities. A lot of them were kind of on the left, as was the theater school that I went to, in my opinion. I didn't find them to be particularly open to non-leftist ideas. So, hey, this helps us accelerate the leftist agenda. I'm really open to it. It's like, wait a minute, this evidence-based, science-based argument retards the leftist agenda. I must attack and destroy it using ad hominems. I don't know that it's openness as a whole, because openness as a whole, to me, comes more out of people who just sort of reason and evidence-based. There is okay, well, if this is what the reason and the evidence is, I guess we have to go that way. Scientists, to me, tend to be more open, but they're open with standards. Whereas the left seems to me more open, like, cool, enthusiastic, advances our agenda. I don't know, like if you say, well, Google is a company that, it's dominated by leftist politics, really open to new arguments, new ideas. It's like, well, you did put out this set of arguments, and they did not appear to be overly open to it.
Yeah, I think that's partly just a symptom of the echo chamber that we were in. And so if we were in a more understanding environment where the two sides actually talk to each other, then hopefully at least they would be more open to ideas that run counter to their internal morals.
Yeah, the openness with standards that Molyneux mentions, that's real openness. Openness with standards. It's not just kind of enthusiasm for anything that advances my agenda, and then we redefine that to be openness. And so that's what he and Damore go through. It's really interesting. And
I like the fact, because I want why he did it. It reminds me of the movie Jerry Maguire. Remember when he wrote a manifesto and he released it?
But that's not what this really is.
Well, and the next thing you know, he was packing his bags. And he had to leave the office, similar to what Damore had to go through. He had to leave after he released this manifesto.
Well, he was fired. That's why he had to leave.
Both of them were fired.
Yeah. So, and Damore, there was mention that Damore has received other job offers, and he's going to be fine. This is a pretty talented kid. Obviously, you aren't big software engineer at Google if you're not talented, and how they recruit. And this is a guy who.
So we don't need to start a GoFundMe page for him.
There is a fundraising, crowdsourcing thing for him.
Oh, really?
That was mentioned. I don't remember what the URL is, but the point is that this is a guy who was making like he was a gamer as a kid, but he was not solving games or puzzles. He was making them. So it's really sharp, mechanically inclined, math, computer science geek, and he's trying to kind of process what he sees around him, and then what he's told by corporate management at these diversity seminars that, of course, are mandatory at places like Google. It's interesting, New York Times op-ed on the topic about the war of sexes at Google, if that's what it is, which is not what it is, but that's what the left, forever wants to make it. I strongly suspect that more than a few Silicon Valley higher-ups agreed with the broad themes of Damore's memo. But just as tech titans accept some censorship and oppression as the price of doing business in China, they accept performative progressivism as the price of having nice campuses in the most liberal state in the union and recruiting their employees from its most elite and liberal schools. And for questioning that political performance while defending the disproportionate maleness that makes it necessary, the Google memo writer simply had to go. It's a fancy way of saying he had to go because kind of he exposed the game that's run by higher-ups at big tech companies like Google in Silicon Valley. I think that's partly true, and partly true. The other explanation for it, though, is the real orthodoxy. And Damore and Molyneux have a really good exchange on this topic, and Damore's conclusion as to why he had to go from his perspective.
You put a lot of qualifiers in there. A lot of, okay, these are group averages. You can't judge the individual. I mean, all the things that rational people have to say because nobody seems to get taught about statistics or anything like that. But, like women in general are shorter than men. Oh, so you're saying that no woman can be taller than a man? It's like, no, I'm not saying that. Oh, please. I wish that government schools were better. But it is. And I remember when I first heard about it, I thought, okay, I'm going to go read about this. And when I started reading about it, James, first of all, there were no quotes. And when there's no quotes from the document, I know it's reasonable. Usually, it's like, well, we can't quote from it. We're going to give you our interpretation. And then I found it really hard to find the original document, like what you'd actually written. And then I thought, oh, man, okay, this is going to be really reasonable now. This is going to be really evidence-based. This is going to be really factual. And then I finally found one, and they said, well, we've made some edits, and we've taken out some charts. And I'm like, what? Why are you hiding it? If this guy's crazy, just let the crazy speak for itself. And then I finally, it took forever, finally found one. It's like, here are the sources, here are the charts. And I'm like, damn, this guy's really reasonable. This is important stuff for us to be talking about. This is science, this is factual. And according to Breitbart, there are 4, I think, psychologists or sociologists or some combination who've said, yeah, the guy's science is bang on. This is well accepted within the psychological community. This is well accepted within the biological community. This is well accepted products of evolutionary psychology and evolutionary biology. This guy's science is bang on. I haven't seen any actual scientist or any of the people you've cited say, no, he got this. He's misusing my work. He's got it totally wrong. All the professionals, all the people who actually study this stuff, they're like, yeah, this is, he's right. I don't agree with everything he's written, but as far as the science goes, he's bang on. And this, to me, is the really surprising thing, because people are characterizing what's happened to you as you've been fired for having an unpopular opinion. You've been chastised for having an unpopular opinion, for being anti. But this is not an opinion that you have, right? And I wonder if you can help people understand that disparity, because it's one thing to be fired for being unpopular. It's another thing for being fired for being right and having the science on your side. That, to me, is truly astonishing.
Yeah, I don't really understand it myself yet. I mean, a lot of it is just people got offended because it goes against the left's ideology. And then they just, okay, it offended people, therefore it's wrong. And therefore it's an opinion because it can't possibly be true if it offends me. I have my own subjective truth or something. I don't know.
That's what it is.
So perfect.
It can't be true because it offends me. It cannot be true because it offends me. I have my own subjective reality. That's exactly it. And he goes on to describe the attacks, on him for the memo. What's the nature of it? Substantive academic critiques of his 10-page memo? No, of course. Most people haven't even read it.
There was a surprising amount of attacks that were just at my race and gender, which is exactly what we're trying to avoid with these things, right? We want to avoid classifying people just by their group identity. That is racism. That is sexism.
Right. So, of course, they're blinded to their own hypocrisy in addition to the blind spots they have because the cultural totalitarians, the sophisticated barbarians at Google never even consider or entertain an opposing viewpoint on these topics that are part of their orthodoxy.
But he wrote
they're blind
this,
to their own
yeah.
hypocrisy on the topic, too, right?
But
Stop categorizing people by groups. That's what we do.
Right. Well, if it's on their terms and coming out of their mouths, then it's fine. But he went to this diversity training meeting that was not filmed. It was, because I've been to diversity training too, and they're very, it's very personal, and you open up and you talk about, when you've
That's one approach.
Well, no, but then it was after that, and he took a flight to China, and that's when he wrote this 10-page memo about his feelings and about women in the workplace, and that, he argued that people inherently want to protect women. That is true. These are facts based.
Well, here's what he describes himself presenting in terms of the evidence.
Any individual person, I'm not talking about reducing anyone to their group identity. I'm just saying that if we look at population level distributions, different groups have different distributions of traits, right? Just as we can say that men have a higher distribution of height than women, for example. And so this isn't important in judging any individual person on how good they are at a job. In fact, I'm not saying that any of the female engineers at Google are in any way worse than the average male engineer. In fact, I'm just saying that this may explain some of the disparity in representation in the population.
And he actually goes on to offer some suggestions on the topic. So if you want to make these tech workplaces more friendly to women, and there's, one of the things you should consider doing, for example.
Putting in a woman's washroom?
Well, I think they have those. But for example, in the interview process, he points out, it's just an individual interview process. There's no assessment made about an applicant's ability to work together well in teams, which turns out to be important for software development.
Yeah.
Right? So there's no assessment made for that. And since women tend to be more collaborative than men, if you want to have a more friendly, be more open towards women, take an approach that makes them more comfortable, then perhaps part of that interviewing process should be some sort of measurement of, aptitude for being a team player, for teamwork, whether it's being a team leader or just part of a team. So it's interesting. He's trying to get to these, like, here's the data. Now, what explains it? Is it all just the patriarchy, or are there other dynamics at play, including opportunities to improve the environment and make it more attractive to women who may not generally be attracted to the profession to begin with, so that they would be more comfortable making that choice, and we don't miss out on a talented female software engineer, for example. So
part of me thinks that
it's just the way this has been categorized in the press, the screeds and the manifestos, he's some kind of iconoclast. I don't even know where he is on the ideological spectrum. I would guess, generally speaking, center left.
Maybe.
And I think leftist authoritarians are just pushing him a little bit right.
The women's rights groups who are so, up in arms about this. I mean, I part of me thinks that he watched The Red Pill, the movie, the documentary we just discussed, because in one excerpt he wrote, as mentioned before, this likely evolved because males are biologically disposable and because women are generally more cooperative and agreeable than men.
Okay.
We have extensive government and Google programs, fields of study, and legal and social norms to protect women. But when a man complains about a gender issue affecting men, he's labeled as misogynist and whiner.
Right. So this gets into
and that's from the memo.
This is what the radical feminists will pick out and say this is men's rights activist rhetoric. It's alt-right. It's patriarchal. It's supremacist. It's all the things, the terms that they use. And so this is a way for them to try and take that statement out of context in this 10-page argument that he makes and run with it to besmirch his reputation, to attack the author because they can't attack the argument.
Right.
That's the play here. But it's worth actually taking the time to read what he had to say and discuss it, because as Stefan Molyneux said in his interview, it's not groundbreaking stuff, but it's an important stuff, and it feels groundbreaking because of the way he's treated. It's less about science that didn't come as any surprise to me. This is an independent research he's done, and it's more about the reaction to an evidence-based, logical case to be made where you're trying to explain distributions and population and perhaps suggest that what one side is saying isn't the total explanation, or perhaps even a part of it. I mean, and again, just to show you his even-handedness in terms of where he is ideologically and why it's not clear, listen to what he says about the right and the left.
The popular conception is just that, the right doesn't understand science at all, and it's anti-science. And it's true that they often deny evolution and climate science, or climate change, but the left also has its own things that it denies. So biological differences between people, in this case, sex differences.
So, I mean, I disagree with this premise that the right. I mean, again, he's saying generally. I'm sure there are some. I don't deny science. I just want. It's quite the opposite when it comes to issues like climate change. I want the science to back up the conclusions or the policy recommendations, and unfortunately, it doesn't. To wit, the New York Times having to retract its big exclusive story on this groundbreaking climate change report that they got wrong yet again. But the New York Times is supposed to be treated as beyond reproach, just as climate change science from the left is supposed to be treated as the debate is over. It's not over. Nothing is over. It wasn't over when they bombed Pearl Harbor. When the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor.
Nothing is over. We say it is.
That's right. So it's but just the reaction. And by the way, one other thing he mentions in terms of who he was reading that got him thinking about these things, in addition to his own experience at Google, he mentions Jonathan Haidt. And Haidt is a psychologist and professor of ethical leadership at NYU, the business school. Liberal. Ran a gun control group as an undergrad at Yale. He admits he never encountered conservative ideas until his mid-40s. And in 2015, he founded Heterodox Academy, which describes itself as a politically diverse group of social scientists, natural scientists, humanists, and other scholars concerned about the loss or lack of viewpoint diversity on college campuses. Scientists, including in the social sciences. When a system loses all its diversity, weird things begin to happen, including diversity of opinion, writes Haidt. And what importantly he diagnoses is the mob mentality that you see playing out with respect to Damore from certain quarters. Haidt's view is that justice means equal outcome in today's parlance, certainly of the left. There are two ideas now in the academic left that weren't there 10 years ago, writes Haidt. One is that everyone is racist because of unconscious bias, and the other is that everything is racist because of systemic racism, which makes justice impossible to achieve. He also adds that the new protectiveness in child rearing that has manifested itself over the past few days leads to this combination of bads that make it very easy to bring mobs together. People are very afraid to stand out or stand up for what they think is right. If you step out of line at all, you'll be called a racist, sexist, or a homophobe. In fact, it's gotten so bad out there, there's a new term, ophobophobia. Which is a fear of being called exophobic. So there's a phobia about being called one of the phobics. Do you get it? There's like the layers of phobia and phobics and ad hominem attacks and and essentially mob action so as to quell thoughtful discourse like James Damore tried to contribute. That's what's happening. And so, again, it's not limited to college campuses. It's coming to your workplace.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had some ulcer issues on my leg that I had from Vietnam. It would erupt on occasion of periods of stress. When I was taking juices, these ulcers had disappeared, but I was not able to get good quality fruits and vegetables to make good juices. And, these ulcers came back. But since I've been taking the fruit and the veggie capsules, these ulcers again have subsided.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
And coming up later, Serena Williams was slammed by a feminist group for a comment she made about giving birth and womanhood. But first, hey, do you like to have insurance, or would you like to have insurance for your computer network, something to protect your hardware and software, and more importantly, give you peace of mind? Well, guess what? Using turnkey IT for installation and support of your systems is like having insurance for your computer network. For one affordable monthly payment, your company gets a full team of certified technicians who are there working for you in the background to ensure your systems are up and running. They'll help you over the phone. They'll come to your office if they need to. And they don't wait until there's an emergency call, because turnkey IT and the technicians work hard to take preventative measures to keep networks secure, backed up, and running nonstop 24/7, even on the weekends. Turnkey IT can protect your network with the turnkey experience. That's Office 365 hosting, advanced network protection, cloud backup, disaster recovery, and unlimited remote and on-site support. So find out what Turnkey IT can do for your company today. It's easy. Just visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
Message and data rates may apply.
Attention, it is illegal to text and drive. So if you're experiencing hair loss and you want a permanent solution, please pull over now, because an incredible offer that could give you your hair back is just one text away. Bosley is the world's most experienced hair restoration expert, always pioneering the latest technology. And now we're giving everyone who texts GROW to 543-543. An absolutely free information kit that reveals just how easy and affordable this permanent solution really is. Don't wait. When you text GROW to 543-543, we'll also give you a gift card for $250 off. Millions of men and women have come to Bosley for a permanent solution to hair loss. So pull over now and see for yourself how great your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit. Text GROW to 543-543. Plus, get a free gift card. This amazing offer is just one text away. GROW to 543-543.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796, or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
Trust is the single most important factor in hiring a contractor, and Dependable Construction and its founder, Joe Barron, built their business over 3 decades by being trustworthy. Tuck pointing, brick, and roofing, it's Joe's specialty. You know, Joe started as a laborer and progressed to an expert tuck pointer and bricklayer. In addition to masonry and roofing, Joe and Dependable Construction have grown to become a full-service Angie's List and Better Business Bureau award-winning contractor for brick, masonry, roofing on residential, commercial, or industrial projects to any other type of remodeling or construction. They do kitchens, they do bathrooms. You will deal directly with owner Joe Barron. Trust me, I've called him, and guess who picks up the phone? Joe Barron. So call Joe Barron at Dependable Construction, mention AM 560, and receive a 10% discount on most jobs. Call 773-244-1091. That's 773-244-1091, or visit tuckpointchicago.net. 773-244-1091 or tuckpointchicago.net.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Text from 414 talking about our conversation with Damore. The underlying social problem is dissuading young girls from STEM study all through elementary and high school. No, that's not. That's a left-wing talking point. It's the opposite of what's happening. That's the opposite of what's happening. And for the last 30 years. And it's across the board, which is why now you see 60% of undergraduate degrees earned by women and men dropping out and their academic performance declining even at the K through 12 level. So you got it wrong, 414. But coming up, we'll talk to Steve Moore about other bad policy. $15 national minimum wage, what impact would that have? Probably make half the jobs in places like West Virginia and Mississippi go away at 6:36.
And later, it's not a rally cap, but a rally cat. We'll explain. But first, into the news. You know I love cat stories. I can't resist.
I know, but you can't have, St. Louis can't have everything.
Yeah,
They've already had a rally squirrel.
But this one, I love this story.
I know. 66 degrees, partly sunny skies. No one is hurt following a long standoff in the back of the yards neighborhood. Police say SWAT teams were called out late last night after a person was barricaded inside an apartment. It's in the 5200 block of South Green Street. The situation resolved early this morning. The person taken to the hospital for a psychiatric evaluation. Crews do remain on the scene of a massive fire on Chicago's south side. The blaze began early this morning inside two vacant buildings near 53rd Place and Peoria. North Korea announcing a detailed plan to launch a salvo of missiles toward the U.S. Pacific territory of Guam. Of course, that's a major military hub and home to U.S. bombers carried out. It would be the North's most provocative missile launch to date. A police source and French media say the suspect of the attack on soldiers near Paris is a 37-year-old Algerian man living legally in France. The man was known to French police as having been involved in minor crimes, never convicted in court. Yemen, seeing the largest outbreak of cholera ever recorded in any country in a single year. Country's raging 2-year war and civil conflict has turned it into an incubator for the disease. International Red Cross says, according to its numbers, 1 in every 120 Yemenis is now suspected of being sick with cholera. Senator John McCain says he's literally the luckiest guy on earth. The Arizona Republican has been battling brain cancer and has been touched by a recent outpouring of support.
Thanks for your letters. Thanks for your phone calls. Thanks for your outpouring of affection. Even those that want me to die don't want me to die right away, so that's good.
Senator Ron Johnson wishing he had used more sympathetic tones in remarks he made about John McCain. The Wisconsin Republican suggested to AM 560 and Dan and Amy this week that McCain's brain tumor may have had an impact on his recent vote to reject a repeal of Obamacare. A statement this morning from the office of the Arizona senior senator says it was deeply unfortunate that Senator Johnson would question the judgment of a colleague and friend. A gym in Georgia making headlines because of its off-limits policy for police and military service members. The owner of the EAV Barbell Club in Atlanta says this morning his gym also doubles as a meeting space for some community activists and says police would not be comfortable being around the activists, and the activists would definitely not be comfortable with police around. Other stories we're following this morning, another business being sued over the Cook County soda tax. Chicago woman filed that suit yesterday against 7-Eleven. 40-year-old leader of one of the most violent street gangs in Chicago history, the Hobos, will learn today if he'll spend the rest of his life in prison. And Major League Baseball is allowing Cubs and White Sox players to wear nickname jerseys later this month. It's all part of a newly created Players Weekend. Players will wear their alternate jerseys inspired by Youth League designs. We'll have the nicknames on jerseys on the back, worn on August 25 through August 27. Madison Bumgarner and the Giants beat the Cubs last night 3-1. Tim Anderson homered and drove in 3, backing Miguel Gonzalez to a win. And the White Sox 7-1 winners over the Astros. The news, a service of LifeLock. It's morning, and here is an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com, promo code RISK, save 10%. 6:36 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager sees misdirected fighting from the left.
One of the reasons they are hysterical about global warming, because they need something to fight. And when you don't fight evil, you must fight something else. I have seen this my whole life. It has been a rule of my life. Those who don't fight real evils fight made-up evils or little evils. When you don't fight evil, it's over.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Come to Cabela's Great Outdoor Days with special events and giveaways, plus doorbusters for 5 hours only, starting 8 a.m. Saturday, August 12th. Shop in-store and at Cabela's.com.
Acme Home Insurance.
Yes, I'd like to make a claim.
What are you wanting to claim, sir?
My air conditioner broke down.
Sorry, but your home insurance doesn't cover air conditioner breakdowns.
So what do you cover?
Home damage from things like earthquakes, volcanoes, a zombie apocalypse.
A zombie apocalypse? But that'll never happen.
But if it did, you'd be covered, sir.
But not my air conditioner?
I'm afraid not.
But his air conditioner could have been covered with a home warranty from American Home Shield, plus major components of 20 other home systems and appliances, like his electrical system, plumbing, refrigerator, and more. For valuable free information, call 1-800-300-3861. Homeowners insurance can cover what might happen.
Zombies are coming!
But a home warranty helps cover what will happen.
Now the dryer won't work.
Be sure with the Shield. American Home Shield. For valuable free information, call 1-800-300-3861. That's 1-800-300-3861. 1-800-300-3861.
6:37, a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Metro says inbound Union Pacific Northwest trains are stopped near Barrington after an earlier collision involving a pedestrian and a freight train. CTA will honor Metro tickets on the Blue Line except from O'Hare. Edens Expressway inbound traffic is heavy Peterson to the junction, 21 minutes either way in Lake Cook and Montrose. Kennedy, 24 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 23. The Eisenhower's 36 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 31. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan is 32 minutes, 95th to downtown, I-57, 22 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford, 21. Traffic, service of Staples, with free next-day delivery from Staples, you can run your business like a pro. Go to staples.com for the office essentials you need delivered next day free on eligible items only and orders over $49.99, placed by 5 p.m. Excludes weekends and holidays. Staples, it's pro time. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte at AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Sun and clouds today. High of 83. Partly cloudy skies early in the evening with a chance, just a chance, of a shower or thunderstorm, especially west and north of the city. Low around 66. 63 at O'Hare. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Heard Saturdays at noon right here on AM 560, The Answer.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy comes your way now. And make sure to join me, Larry Elder, tonight at 7, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and the Democrat Party has rolled out its better deal. Better deal for Americans. You know, they want a policy agenda too. And so they just borrowed that dictator Maduro's economic policy in Venezuela. Very good piece in Washington Post, something I don't say a lot. The potential impact of one of the parts of the better deal that Democrats are offering, $15 federal minimum wage. Here's the issue with that.
The real facts?
Well, for example...
Because there's consequences for actions.
For example, in West Virginia, the median hourly wage. In West Virginia, the state, the median hourly wage is $14.79. In Arkansas, it's $14.48. In Mississippi, it's $14.22. So if you're talking about minimum wage that would could be binding on more than half the jobs in just those 3 states. So what would be the response if you're going to mandate $15 an hour for so many of those jobs where the median comes out at less than $15 an hour? Layoffs and cuts in hours worked, which is what happened in Seattle, and which is why servers in Maine overturned the proposed increase in the minimum wage in that state because the servers in Maine took and passed an Econ 101 course. For more on this topic and others, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Steve Moore, Chief Economist of the Heritage Foundation, and senior economist at CNN and Wall Street Journal columnist.
We can go on and on and on.
Got all the bells and whistles. Hey, Steve, how about that $15 minimum wage and that better deal economic program that Democrats are offering?
Hey, Dan. Hey, Amy. Well, I did read that piece, actually, about there's about 6 or 7 states that have median wages that are at or below what they're proposing for the federal minimum wage. Now, they had a big experiment in Seattle. Did you guys follow that?
Yeah.
With the $15 minimum wage. I don't think they've gotten up to 15 yet. I think they're at 12 or 13. And what they found was, look, most people who are in the minimum wage are either retail or fast food restaurant workers. And what they found was that the fast food, the McDonald's and the Burger Kings and the Walmarts found ways to automate so that they didn't have to hire workers. So they actually had a big decline in the number of people who are working. Now, as you guys know, I grew up in Chicago. My first job, to give you a sense of how old I am, was working at a warehouse in Northbrook, Illinois, for $2.05 an hour. But, I think a lot about that first job. You learn a lot with your first job. You learn how to show up on time and how to be nice to your boss and maybe how to run a cash register or run a forklift and those kinds of, very useful skills. Most people who earn the minimum wage, it's their first job. It's a starter job. And you do a real disservice to the economy when you destroy those starter jobs because then people can't get into the workforce. If you don't have a first job, you have a second job or a third job or a fourth job.
Yeah, and didn't you get a work permit, too, at age 15? I think that's what you and I have in common.
Well, actually, I think it was 17 when I had my, now that was the first. I had worked before that, but I'd never, worked for, for a real employer like that. I'd mowed lawns and had a newspaper delivery route back when they had newspapers. But look, it's really true. When I was at the Wall Street Journal, we would meet incredibly talented people who were, successful in business or finance or entertainment or sports, amazing people. And I always asked them, where are you from? And it was amazing how many of them grew up on a farm. And they started, if you grew up on a farm, you started working when you're 8, 9, 10 years old. There's no child labor laws when you're growing up on a farm, but those people tended to be successful. We make a big mistake in this country when we don't have young people work. Young people should be working. College students, that's the solution to the college aid program. Well, how about college students who are 21, 22 years old? They work while they're in school.
Right. Now, I was watching DonaldTrump.com, Trump TV, and they were touting that President Trump has created 1 million jobs so far in the first 6 months of his pregnancy, his presidency. Where did these jobs come from? What kind of public sector jobs?
That's a great question. I was hoping you would ask that, Amy, because I have gone through that report. By the way, it was a blockbuster report. The economy really, truly has shifted into a higher gear. We're growing at 1.5% last year under Obama, which is barely staying out of recession. We're now up to 2.6%. And as you both know, I've been saying on this show and on CNN and Fox, whoever will listen, that we can get the 3 to 4% growth. Trump thinks we can get the 5. I don't know about that, but look, the economy is better, and why is it better? Mostly because you've gotten these crazy people in the Obama administration who hated business out of their regulatory agencies. Just having, when I talk to employers, they say just having some certainty that that Washington isn't going to hurt us, even if Trump doesn't do anything positive. Just getting rid of the regulatory stranglehold is important. As you know, Trump promised 2 repeals of regulations for every new regulation, and did you guys know they're at 16? They've repealed 16 regulations for every new regulation. So that's a big deal. But that circles me back. Oh, one other quick thing, Amy. You asked where the jobs are coming from.
Yeah.
A lot of them are coming from the mining and drilling industry. Wow, what a shock! We actually are promoting American energy. We're producing jobs in the energy industry. So that's one of my favorite stories. Coal has been a major comeback under Trump.
All right, we need an update from you since you're part of the junta, along with I guess there's a fourth, but along with Kudlow and Laffer and and Forbes trying to provide advice and counsel on tax reform. So where does that stand?
And I was hoping you would not ask me that.
Yeah, okay.
Because, the Republicans are bumbling. They can't seem to get their act together. We saw that on Obamacare, which was a disgrace. And by the way, as we speak, you've got Republicans like Lamar Alexander of Tennessee who are negotiating behind closed doors with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi for a bailout of the insurance companies, which would be the biggest betrayal of Republican principles and what they said they would do. Instead of repealing Obamacare, you'd get a bailout of Obamacare under the Republican Congress. So look out for that. I still hold out hope that there will be a tax cut this year. In fact, I'm flying up to New York today for a dinner that I'm having with Larry Kudlow, with Kevin Brady, who's the Ways and Means Committee chairman, and we're going to tell him, look, you've got to get this done. All of these gains we've seen in the stock market, in jobs, in confidence, all of those threaten to go away. You could have a sell-off in stocks if they don't get this tax cut done, because some of it is already priced into the market. So if you're an investor, beware of the Republicans' inability to get this thing done. But I'm going to put the probability right now that we get a tax cut this year at 60%.
Oh, boy, the triumph of hope over experience.
60%,
okay.
but I was wrong on Obamacare. Remember I said I thought there's an 80% chance
Yeah.
to get Obamacare repealed on this show, so I was wrong about that.
So there's about a 30% chance you're right. So that was what you're saying. I got to ask you this question, too. Speaking of the triumph of hope over experience, hoping that conservatives will be principled rather than engage in the rent-seeking behavior we decry when it's the left doing it. Sinclair Broadcast Group has, of course, proposed acquisition of Tribune Media, and it's igniting the opposition from the left because Sinclair is, center-right, and of course, if you're center-right, you're not allowed to own a media property in this country. At least that would be the left's utopia. But they're also getting opposition from Newsmax. Christopher Ruddy filed a petition urging the FCC to deny the Sinclair Tribune combination, along with One America News Network and The Blaze, Glenn Beck's operation. They want to be insulated from competition by the federal government. Well, that's not very sporting of those erstwhile conservatives, is it, Steve?
No, it isn't. And look, I'm a big fan of Chris Ruddy. I work for Newsmax, but I think that they're just wrong on this. I mean, is anybody really worried about a monopoly of the media?
Yeah, right.
You've got 1,000 places, you can get your media from. It's not like the 1960s where you had 3 networks and 5 radio stations. I mean, you've got so much competition, and the idea that there's somehow a monopoly influence there. And look, is this Sinclair, would this be Tribune, Chicago Tribune, or?
Yeah, well, Tribune Media. I mean, the WGN, not the papers, but the
okay, yeah. But still, I mean, a lot of these, like newspapers and stuff are in danger of going away. I'm a big newspaper fan. I worked for a newspaper for 10 years. And, maybe the best thing for the survival of some of these papers is mergers with other companies. By the way, I feel the same way about, what's happening with Google and Apple. Our major, titans in high technology are being sued by the Europeans for being monopolies, which is completely ridiculous. There's another area. Technology is not a monopolistic industry. I mean, that's like, remember when they went after AT&T?
Yeah. Well, how about Microsoft? Yeah, right.
Exactly. So just let the free market competition work, and I don't even believe in antitrust. I mean, if you get the king of the mountain, you can stay there, but it ain't easy. It ain't easy to stay at the king of the mountain, as you said, as Microsoft has learned, and Google 10 years from now may not even exist. That's the dynamism of free enterprise.
Well, that's why we like you, Steve, because you're principled. You're even willing to defend those leftist cranks at Google.
As long as, but I do think there should be a cap on the number of economists.
Yeah, of course, obviously.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, we got to protect Steve Moore. Absolutely.
We have enough economists. We don't need any more.
Okay.
He is Heritage Foundation economist Steve Moore. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey economist-friendly .pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Some sun, some clouds, nice summer day, a high of 83 degrees. Tonight we have a shower or thunderstorm, which will probably plow through here towards the tail end of the Bears preseason game at Soldier Field. And then for Friday, we're going to have some clouds, sun, passing shower, thunderstorm, a high of 79 degrees. Let's get into our alarm detection systems traffic center. Anybody tailgating already at Soldier Field? Here's Jim Talamonte.
Not yet, Amy. It's early, and optimism is limited this year. But just as we finally get all the Lollapalooza closures out of the way, and Balbo's still blocked, but that's going to clear today. And then we'll now go from Lollapalooza right to Bears traffic. Eden's inbound, 23 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, 33 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. Inbound Ike, 40 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 37. Stevenson rough, an hour and 4 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 42 minutes. Ryan is 32 minutes from 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State heavy 111th, 75th after the Reagan all the way to the Eisenhower. Jim Talamonte and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Allstate creating 2,500 new jobs in North Carolina. New jobless claims numbers today. Oprah Winfrey launching her own line of supermarket products. And those stories are next.
If you've got a 401k, IRA, or pension plan, I've got some bad news for you. This is Brett Kitchen, and the IRS wants you to think these qualified plans are the best way to save for retirement. They give you a tax break when you contribute. Sounds good, right? Wrong. A qualified plan could be a tax disaster when you retire. With $18 trillion in debt, taxes are already going up. Imagine paying a top tax rate of over 90% like the 1960s. There's a better way. It's an alternative the ultra-rich use that beats the pants off your IRA or 401k. It's been around for years. Your money grows tax-deferred, has no taxes in retirement, and no income taxes when you die. Plus, you can grow your money potential double digits with no risk of losing money when the market crashes. If the market tanks like 2008, you lose nothing. Call Wealth Beyond Wall Street now at 800-960-8585 to talk to a specialist and get a free copy of my brand new book, Wealth Beyond Wall Street, to protect yourself from taxes and crashes. Call 800-960-8585. 800-960-8585. That's 1-800-960-8585.
Insurance giant Allstate planning to more than double its workforce in North Carolina, creating 2,500 new jobs in the Charlotte area. A top Allstate executive also announcing that the company will build new offices to accommodate the expanded workforce. Ahead today, the latest on jobless claims, a report on the Producer Price Index, and the Treasury releases the latest numbers on the federal government's budget deficit. One-time queen of daytime television, Oprah Winfrey, launching her own line of soups and entrees in supermarkets coast to coast. Winfrey, who is also a TV spokesman for Weight Watchers, says her "Oh, That's Good" line will be distributed by Kraft Heinz Foods. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that enhances what we do each morning. It's our digital platform with original content in the form of long-form interviews with opinion leaders and policymakers. That's the Against the Current series, which this coming week will feature one Senator Ted Cruz. So you want to check that out. We've also got Heart of the Matter. It's our new series with professional women talking colleague to colleague about the salient public policy issues of the day. Man on the Street segments and Follow the Logic. This week focused on single payer, whether that's a good idea, and people can follow the logic on that. 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries from yours truly. Podcast for Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I've had 10 major surgeries, including 3 brain surgeries. And I have extreme rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and fibromyalgia. And I wanted to let him know that his Balance of Nature have helped boost my immune system so much because I'm on injectable medications for the rheumatoid, and they bring down your immune system. Since I've been taking Balance of Nature, I haven't gotten a cold, nothing. It really helped me tremendously.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
If you're young and healthy, you don't need life insurance, right? Yeah, that's what I used to think too, until my brother died at 38. Joe left his wife with 2 kids, a mortgage, and a stack of bills she couldn't pay. Mary had to sell the house and move everybody into this tiny 2-bedroom apartment just to make ends meet. I never want to do that to my wife, so I got life insurance. I called AIG Direct and was really surprised how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. Listen, if you have a family, you should seriously think about getting life insurance. You'll feel a lot better having it, trust me.
Call AIG Direct for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you could save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-400-4173. That's 1-800-400-4173. 1-800-400-4173.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
If you think all banks are the same, it's time to think about Signature Bank Chicago. I'm Pete Olson, head of commercial banking at Signature Bank, where the people who own the bank operate the bank. Not in an abstract way, but in the same hands-on, personalized way that you run your business. We don't rely on a legion of business developers to find new relationships. We don't trust an outsourced phone bank to address your customer service needs, and we don't delegate decision-making to some anonymous credit committee that you'll never meet. We do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you don't succeed, we don't succeed. Call us today to see the Signature Bank difference.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Message and data rates may apply.
What does home security look like in 2017? It's not strangers drilling holes in your walls. It's not big names making empty promises. In 2017, thanks to some out-of-the-box thinking, FrontPoint Home Security is 100% wireless with cellular monitoring and is ready to set up right out of the box. Plus, it's backed up by the best customer service in the industry. Experience the next generation of home security with FrontPoint. For a free quote, text the keyword FAMILY to 642-642. FrontPoint can be controlled right from your smartphone, so you can remotely control your lights, thermostat, and door locks. With text and email alerts, live video streaming, night vision, and professional monitoring 24/7, your home is protected with us. Ready, set, secure. It's that easy. Protect your family right out of the box with FrontPoint. We deliver it, you unbox it. For your free quote, text FAMILY to 642-642 on your smartphone. That's FAMILY to 642-642.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, folks, here's this story about Minnie the Mooch.
Mooch.
Anthony the Mooch.
Yeah, Scaramucci's back. He's going to be on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert on Monday. And then later with George Stephanopoulos on This Week. But the
I hope
real
the
reason,
censors are ready.
Oh, yeah, that's what they said. The real reason he's making news this morning is he's fighting back against the New Yorker's Ryan Lizza, saying he absolutely taped the call without my permission. #lowlife. And then he went on to say Ryan Lizza is the Linda Tripp of 2017. People know, and he's up all night not being able to live with himself.
Well, maybe Scaramucci will reveal his blue dress, too. It'll be interesting. The Mooch and Clinton Foundation donor Zero, I guess they'll mainly argue about who has the bigger Napoleonic complex, so that should be interesting.
Exactly. Let's go now into the newsroom and say good morning again to Mike Scott.
Bears opening preseason action tonight against the Broncos. Weather should be good. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
They will wait for Kim Jong-un's order. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. North Korea's military readying a plan to fire 4 ballistic missiles at Guam. Despite President Trump's fire and fury warning, Fox's Simon Owen has more live.
Dave, North Korea saying President Trump is bereft of reason and going senile. A statement from a North Korean general delivered on state TV dismissing the president's threat of fire and fury as a load of nonsense. North Korea also saying it's finalizing its plan to fire missiles in the direction of Guam, the U.S. territory in the Western Pacific. It says the plan will be ready by mid-August and then sent to leader Kim Jong-un for a decision. Dave?
Simon, Guam's Governor Eddie Calvo tells Fox's Tucker Carlson.
Most of our concern here in Guam is that decisions are not made that would cause some sort of a conflict over here.
He says there's concern but no panic, urging people to go about their lives. President Trump has tweeted another shot at the Senate's Republican leader this morning, writing, "Can you believe that Mitch McConnell, who screamed repeal and replace for 7 years, couldn't get it done on Obamacare?" This after McConnell said this in Kentucky on Monday.
Our new president had, of course, not been in this line of work before, and I think had excessive expectations about how quickly things happen in the democratic process.
There's drama between the U.S. and Cuba. American diplomats who were in Havana suffered hearing loss, and officials believe it's from a sonic device placed in or near their residences that produced a sound not audible but did damage.
The safety and security of American citizens at home and abroad is our top priority.
State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert, in response, the U.S. has kicked 2 Cuban diplomats out of Washington. 16 Penn State fraternity members return to court this hour as a hearing resumes into a Pledge's February death. They're facing involuntary manslaughter and assault charges. Fox News, fair and balanced.
66 degrees. We have partly sunny skies. At 7:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Police-involved shooting may have been the result of a chase, and that chase may have started here in Illinois. Officers in Indiana are blocking Sheffield Avenue near 81st Street in northwest Indiana as they investigate the windows of a car that appear to have been shattered on the passenger side. A heavy police response in the area. Several responding agencies, Lake County, Indiana, Dyer, Indiana, Will County, Stager, Crete, Illinois, all responding to reports of a police-involved shooting that may have been a result of a chase that started in the state of Illinois. No one hurt following a long standoff in Chicago's Back of the Yards neighborhood. Police say SWAT was called out last night after a person barricaded himself inside an apartment in the 5200 block of South Green. The situation was resolved early this morning, and that person was transported to a nearby hospital for a psychiatric evaluation. Crews remain on the scene of a fire mopping up near 53rd Place in Peoria. Flames have been extinguished, but the fire broke out early this morning inside those 2 vacant buildings. Authorities are searching for the person who shot and killed the father of 4 Chicago's Westtown neighborhood. Community activist Andrew Holmes says a reward is being offered for information that helps track down the gunman who took Aristeo Soriano's life.
Anyone that has surveillance footage, or even if you was out here and you seen it, just come forward. I mean, don't wait till it knock at your door. Let's knock at their door and get these people apprehended and in custody.
The victim shot while walking home from D'Amato's Bakery, a place where he worked for over 2 decades. Naperville officials this morning warning residents to be on the cautious side after 2 rabid bats were found. Police say the first one was discovered last Friday in a yard on Ambleside Circle, the second removed from a home on Monday on North Loomis. People who come across any kind of wildlife are asked to contact the city's Animal Control Division first. Giants over the Cubs 3-1 Wednesday night. Madison Bumgarner struck out 7 in that Giants win. Tim Anderson homered and drove in 3, backing Miguel Gonzalez to a 7-1 win by the White Sox over the Astros. The news service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee for tires, oil service, and repairs. National Tire and Battery. That's all you need. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Convenience, confidence, value. Experience all 3 when you bring your European vehicle to Midwest Performance Cars for maintenance and repair. BMW, Porsche, Audi, Mercedes. We make it convenient for you. Our drop-off procedure has most customers on their way in under 5 minutes, and we feature complimentary Uber or Lyft service to get you where you need to be. With our tablet-based digital inspections, you'll be confident that we only recommend service your car needs. We email or text your vehicle's condition report with pictures and video so you can make an informed decision. And our 3-year, 100,000-mile parts and labor warranty provides unmatched value. We perform outstanding service and we stand behind it. Read our Google reviews and see for yourself. In Chicago at 1385 West Lake Street, book your appointment online at MidwestPerformanceCars.com or call us at 312-432-9492. And coming this summer, we will be opening our 2nd MPC location in Northbrook, Illinois.
Home
isn't just a place, it's a feeling. Whether you're at home, your business, or online, ADT helps keep you safe with security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling. ADT, home, safe home.
You started your business because you have something special to offer, and you want customers to know it from the moment you hand them your card. That's why now is the time to go to Vistaprint.com to get 500 customized, high-quality business cards starting at just $9.99. Choose everything about your card with thousands of customizable designs for every industry, and our support specialist standing by to help. Head to Vistaprint.com to get 500 business cards starting at $9.99. Use promo code 6655 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 6655.
It's 7:06. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts. It is hot out there, but not hard to protect your engine from overheating. All you have to do is go to any participating Napa Auto Parts store and grab some pressed stone antifreeze for $11.99 a gallon. That's Napa know-how. Check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Metro is reporting delays of up to an hour on the Union Pacific Northwest line after an earlier incident involving a pedestrian and a freight train in the Barrington area. Dyer, Indiana. There's a closure of Sheffield Avenue between 81st and 82nd Avenues after a police chase that started in Illinois. Eden's 21 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. Kennedy, 39 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 42. Inbound Eisenhower delays start at St. Charles, 53 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. 39 from Manheim, outbound 37 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan is 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Fishing Ford 19. Northbound Tri-State delays from 111th to 75th, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, a blend of sun and clouds, high 83. Tonight, partly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm, low 66. Tomorrow, clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around, high 79. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
64 degrees at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Are you sure your business is being seen online? Visit beingseen360.com to discover how being seen online can improve traffic, leads, and sales. beingseen360.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. The movie The Red Pill. The Red Pill. A young, self-identified feminist filmmaker named Cassie J sets out to tackle what's called MRAs, men's rights activists, and the men's rights movement from a feminist perspective. But something happens along the way, and it's worth checking out because there are so many important issues that she raises, and she handles them beautifully and even-handedly, and lets, essentially people make their own case, and thus you make your own judgment about radical feminists like the executive editor of Miss Magazine, who she interviews on a number of these topics, and a couple of academics, and the gender studies academics types, or people like an academic himself, Warren Farrell, the author of The Myth of Male Power, and other books, who actually started out as a feminist himself at the infancy of that movement with Gloria Steinem in the 60s. When it comes to the justice system's treatment of men versus women, the parental rights of men versus women, the
instances of domestic violence of women against men,
the employment dynamics of men versus women. It's really, really a thoughtful exposition on all of these topics, and hopefully a lot of people see it, and it sparks a lot of debate.
But I love the fact, too, that she didn't insert herself so much, but the fact that she's a feminist and described herself as a feminist, and she spent a year with different men from the MRA movement, and I thought that she did a really nice job of documenting her growth as a human being and the metamorphosis that she went through.
Well, she
after having conversations with different groups.
She asked good questions. She followed the logic and the evidence with respect to the answers she was given from different quarters to those questions. And I have to tell you, however you come to this, if you come to this like she did, Cassie J, as a feminist, you're going to hear responses from the likes of the Miss Magazine editor or academics that I think you're going to find wanting. She certainly did. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by an MRA, as they're called, men's rights activist from Evanston. His name is Dan Balfe. Dan, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
So, at the outset of the film and consistent with how the men's rights activism has been treated generally by the press, she starts with this being some kind of, women-hating, Al Bundy sort of group or movement that, just is playing victim to advance themselves the same way that they've seen other groups who truly have been victimized advance themselves, and it's not legitimate. Now, she evolves in terms of that caricature of the men's rights movement, but why don't you share your experience and what the group in Evanston does and what your perspective is?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm really pleased to come on and share my experience. I'm a supporter of the MRA because I do believe in the data around it, and my experience has been that those are the symptoms of a greater root issue. And for me, my experience has been that going through an initiation process, I know it sounds really weird, and maybe blow your mind a little bit, going through a weekend-long initiation process with other men who have done their work, something that we call men's work, to find out who they are, to be authentic, honest, open, vulnerable, to be able to be what I consider to be more of a true man or a real man, versus a lot of the stereotypes that we see that continue in our culture, the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator tough guy or the John Wayne do-it-alone kind of man. Those don't work anymore. And I believe that that's the root cause of what's going on in the male culture and where this destructiveness and self-sabotage continues to happen.
Well, Dan, let's take a step back, though. Tell us why you decided to join a men's rights group in the first place.
Well, so the reason I decided to join a men's rights group is because of my own personal journey. I was having a very difficult time in my family life. I have and had at the time a wonderful wife, 2 great kids, a wonderful suburban house and lifestyle, and I was just imploding. I even had a plan, it's a crazy plan in my head, because I was completely stressed out and had this plan that I was going to move into the local YMCA because I couldn't handle all the pressures of being a dad and being a provider and supporting my wife, and who was I and was I of any value? So when I looked to a lot of the data that you shared about the men's rights movement, I realized that that's a lot of where my angst and my issues were coming from.
So it was not so much conflict with your wife. It was just kind of the overall pressure of your responsibilities and I guess society's expectation for how you're to handle those responsibilities.
That was a big part of it, and then also part of it was what I learned or didn't learn growing up. I like to say I had 4 fathers growing up. I had a birth father who abandoned me. I'm adopted. And then I had my adopted father, who was a violent man. And then I had a stepfather who was an alcoholic and ended up dying from alcoholism. And then I had a fourth father who was bipolar. And so, what did I learn from my fathers? Very little, except from the standpoint of how I didn't want to be. So from there, that's what caused a lot of this implosion. Who am I supposed to be? I had such high expectations of what I didn't want to be. How can I show up as who I want to be? So that's why I did some exploration, and through the fortunate reconnection with a friend from high school, introduced me to, hey, here's what's going on in our culture. Look at what's happening. Our roles are shifting. We are no longer the provider, the procreator, the protector. It's not exclusive anymore. So who are we as men anymore? And that's a big part of the men's right movement, is identifying is that we've lost our identity. And so I've looked to recreate or to redefine myself and my identity. And for me, that looks like being authentic, honest, and opening. And a word that really resonates for me in all this, in my journey here, is being nurturing. How do I nurture my children, my wife, my friends? And it's not a soft nurturing. It's how do I support them in a tough way, but also in a very loving way.
So how do you react when the men's rights movement and you and your fellow travelers are characterized as part of some hate group or women haters and the like?
Right. I react. I'm kind of astounded, especially with such a broad generalization. The people who make these statements don't know me. They don't know my life, and I think that's what the journey of the producer of the Red Pill discovered. She walked in with a set of expectations, and I was really happy to see that she was open herself to hearing where these men were coming from. So I react, and what I always do is, and this is something I've learned on my journey, ask questions. What makes you think that? How is it that you came to that decision? I even asked, so why does that make you so angry? Because 9 out of 10 times there's something in their lives that's triggering them. So just like I had something in my life that was triggering me to go to a very unhealthy place, for me, with all those accusations and their own anger is something being triggered from them. And how can we all come together and wrap our hearts and minds around that and deal with that and move forward together instead of separately?
And how often do you...
Like a little bit like our politics, right?
Yep, exactly. And how often do you guys have meetings? And can you fit in some room for Dan Proft if he wants to go to the men's rights group?
Sure. I'll have to do it on a night where I'm not attending my lonely guys group. But go ahead. So go ahead.
That's all right. We'll squeeze you in. So yeah, we meet once a week, and there are groups all over the world. I'm part of an organization called the Mankind Project. And the Mankind Project was started back in the 80s through the work of it was platformed from a work by Robert Bly, who wrote a book called Iron John. And tens of thousands of men across the world have gone through this experiential weekend and then continue on together in small groups. I've been going to groups for 15 years. We meet once a week in Evanston. And I now have 7 men that I can go to anytime I have any sort of issue, anything. And they accept me without judgment, and they do whatever they can to support me through that with wisdom and advice. So it's really been a life-changing event for me. So Dan, when you come, we meet on Wednesday nights. We had our meeting last night.
Did somebody bring food?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sounds good. Dan Ball, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate you joining us and giving us your perspective on this, particularly with the popularity that this documentary is going to have.
You guys are great. Thank you very much for giving me the time to talk.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
And you can imagine the viciousness on Twitter and on social media in response to this, too, from, the tough guys. I'm telling you, you think this is just like victim complex stuff and whatnot? Watch the movie. Watch the movie.
Yes.
Watch The Red Pill. You're going to change your mind if you think this isn't a serious topic.
And the gentleman that we had on, too, he does father-son clinics. He tries to help fathers who are struggling right now be better men and husbands and dads.
He's making it like I'm doing it. He's making it okay to be a loving man.
Yes,
just
it's
like
okay,
I do.
Dan.
Yeah.
Forecast for today, some sun, some clouds, a little bit of humidity, a high of 83 degrees. Then tonight for the Bears preseason game, it's going to be a little dicey. Might have a shower or thunderstorm possibly between 8:30 and 9 p.m., a low of 66 degrees. And for Friday, clouds, sun, a shower or thunderstorm around, a high of 79 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. How's it out on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, Amy, we've had quite a few things going on this morning after some crazy things during the overnight. Now we've had a police chase, which went across the state line from Illinois into Indiana and then Dyer. Because of this ongoing police activity, Sheffield Avenue is blocked between 81st and 82nd Avenues. The Eden's not too bad, 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 22. The Kennedy, drama-free, but not delay-free. It's 40 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown, little quicker than the Express, outbound 42. The Eisenhower's 53 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 37. Stevenson an hour, 3:55 to the drive, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State slow, 111th to 75th. And from the Reagan Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge, Veterans Memorial, stop and go Finley to Roosevelt after a stall just cleared. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Gentlemen, if you've been thinking about treatment for low testosterone, be sure to do your homework and go to a medical provider that you can trust that specializes in testosterone therapy. So I went to Low T Center, got my levels checked, quick and easy, and now they have a great new location in downtown Chicago, right on the Mag Mile. If you've noticed a decline in energy, stamina, or motivation, you may have low testosterone. Low T levels make you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol, even cause weight gain. At Low T Center, services covered by most health insurance, and you find out your results in just minutes. So, guys, if you've been thinking about treatment for low T, choose my friends at Low T Center, now with a location in downtown Chicago on the Mag Mile at 625 North Michigan Avenue. Call 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's 312-239-3427. Call now or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
Your logo is your brand, your reputation. It's your most valuable asset. So what's the best thing to do with it? Give it away. When the experts at 4imprint put your logo on the right promotional products, giving those items away can make a lasting impression, empower your brand, and attract new customers. In fact, we'll prove it by revealing the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers absolutely free. Simply text the keyword GIVE to 642-642. We don't just print your logo. We're here to help you every step of the way. The 4imprint team can make your logo shine on your choice of thousands of promotional items, all delivered on time at great prices with free art assistance and outstanding customer service that's second to none. Want to turn your logo into profit? Give it away. Discover the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers absolutely free by texting GIVE to 642-642. That's GIVE to 642-642.
When you have sleep apnea, traveling can be a real drag because you have to drag your big, bulky home CPAP device with you everywhere you go. But not anymore. Now you can travel easily and sleep comfortably anywhere thanks to Transcend, the world's very first mini CPAP. And right now, you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. So call now, 1-800-600-4133. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. Transcend is so incredibly small and light, you can easily fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't delay. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-600-4133. Again, that's 1-800-600-4133.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. I occasionally take new customer calls, and too often people tell me that they have heard our advertisements for years. If Balance of Nature is not currently being delivered to your doorstep, start now and begin experiencing the benefits of balance of nature in your life. Call and see how you can get your free month supply.
I noticed a difference in the first month.
I got rid of most of my other vitamins. I feel pretty good, even though I'm an old guy, 77. I think it's doing great.
I just feel good. I just believe they're really what they say they are.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to find out how to get your free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
Yes, indeed, summertime. Another hot one. Wait, gonna be a little bit cooler today. Back to hot, gonna be windy. Maybe a thunderstorm mixed in for good measure. Up and down and up and down. The climate is always changing. Your company's heating and cooling system really gets a workout in Chicagoland. Be ready for anything this summer. Call Air Comfort and get your business's cooling system tuned up and running at peak performance. You see, the Air Comfort problem solvers can find small problems before they become big problems. Plus, proper maintenance will keep your system from wasting energy and money. Air Comfort will make sure your equipment is clean and obstacle-free. And if your chiller is about to or has stopped working, they can install temporary solutions to keep you cool while the long-term fixes are put in place. The key to keep your climate from changing is preventative maintenance, and Air Comfort can help. Schedule a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system today. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
AM 560, The Answer.
Stop. You've got to be nice.
I am being nice. I mean, just the tweets and the text. I mean, it's just like, come on. Watch the red pill. You watch the red pill, and then you come and tell me. You come talk to me with your funny texting and tweeting.
Well, speaking of feminism, Serena Williams getting slammed, if you know what I mean, by a certain feminist group because she did an interview with an Australian newspaper, and she said, basically, I have so much respect for so many women, and I'm about to become a real woman now, you know, because she's about to give birth to her first child.
Mm-hmm.
So they have come down on her, and people are slamming her on social media. So in your review, I'm not a real woman because I chose not to have children.
Yeah.
Thanks. And you're pushing the feminist movement back 50 years. Thank you.
No, it's actually the radical feminists that are pushing the feminist movement back.
Thanks for reminding me I'm not a real woman. I shall never give birth to my own children. I've adopted 2 kids. So, I mean, I think what she was trying to say is that she feels more feminine because she's lived in a man's world and she's...
Women's tennis?
She's kind of... I mean, she's a little...
She's kind of what?
She's kind of mannish.
Well...
I mean, she's
in women's tennis. How is that a man's world?
Well, she practices like a man. She's trained like a man. She's aggressive like a man. And now she's entering a different part of her womanhood.
She trains
where
like
she
a professional
is going to be
athlete.
nurturing a child, somebody else.
Well, I don't...
Instead of nurturing her career.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think, yeah.
Well,
No,
when you give birth,
I'm about to be a real woman now. She's giving birth and she's excited about it. And this is something where every statement has to comport with the orthodoxy of the kind of man-hating, shrew, radical feminist.
And she's reminding people this morning that she's definitely a feminist. She said, I'd like to stick up for women and womenmen's rights.
Yeah, such a yawn.
This holder of 23 Grand Slam
instead of pandering to the worst out there, why don't you just say, you know what? If you don't like what I said, go pound sand. I could give a rat's ass what a bunch of Twitter bots think about, how I express my enthusiasm for motherhood. Give me a break. Stop being such a... It's just as like when she had to recast her, McEnroe, recast her position on women being able to compete with men in tennis when McEnroe made that comment about she wouldn't be in the top 500 men.
700.
Whatever. And after she had previously said Andy Murray would beat me in straight sets in 10 minutes. Stop recasting it. Just stand up for yourself. You know what being a woman is? Or being just a self-actualized human being is? Being able to stand up to yourself and respond to criticism and consider the source of the criticism rather than just yielding to politically correct pablum. On a related story,
yes,
Kate Middleton as in Kate Middleton and Prince William. Right?
The royal family.
Yeah.
She's so gorgeous. Gosh.
Uh-huh.
She's the most photographed woman in the world. But anyway, what's going on with...
She has 2 kids, and...
they're adorable.
During her time in Warsaw, Kate was presented with a baby's toy designed for children younger than her own. She reportedly turned to Prince William and joked, "We just have to have more babies." They have 2.
Mm-hmm.
That drew a letter, an open letter, from the executive director of an organization called Having Kids, which promotes a sustainable and child-centered family planning model, meaning population control, and suggested that she not have any more kids.
Okay. I suggested that is none of their business with a married couple, especially the royals who are producing these gorgeous children. They're fun to watch. That they should stay out of it.
Large families are not sustainable.
Oh,
right?
okay. Tell that to farmers.
ZPGers.
Yeah.
It's so classic, right? I mean, that's the attitude that has Japan and most European countries in a demographic death spiral, with Mark Stein famously inveighing on Japan, they would have been better to invent the walker instead of the Walkman.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk foreign policy with Sebastian Gorka.
Okay, Henry Kissinger.
I'm first going to Dr. Mike Scott.
68 degrees, partly sunny skies. North Korea not just talking about a missile attack on Guam, country's military and newsreaders are saying there is a definite plan to fire 4 missiles to land near the South Pacific island. That's a U.S. territory and home to strategic military bases. State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert says the U.S. government is speaking with one voice on North Korea.
The United States, along with other nations, condemn North Korea for their destabilizing activities. They've continued to take part of that.
Meantime, state-run news organs in the country of North Korea say the country's top generals are delivering plans for the missile strike in the next few days. Transgender members of U.S. military organizations are suing to keep on serving. 5 members of the service have filed suit to block President Trump's plan to bar transgendered people from military service. There is a buzz in the air around Washington, D.C. this morning after an unarmed Russian spy plane buzzed the nation's capital. It was a low-altitude flight yesterday. It is permitted under what's being termed the Treaty on Open Skies. That allows Russia and the United States and 30 other nations to conduct properly recorded surveillance flights over military sites. A hearing for members of an now-closed Penn State fraternity charged in the hazing death of a pledge will likely continue today, day 4 of the hearing, trying to determine if there is enough evidence to allow the prosecution to go forward. A police-involved shooting in Dyer, Indiana is being investigated, the result of a chase that may have started in Illinois. No one hurt following a long standoff in Chicago's Back of the Yards neighborhood. SWAT teams were called out last night after a person was barricaded inside an apartment for a time in the 5200 block of South Green. And another business is being sued over the Cook County soda tax. A Chicago woman filed suit yesterday against 7-Eleven. Giants over the Cubs 3-1. Was the White Sox over the Astros 7-1. The news a service of Napa Auto Parts. It is hot out there, but not hard to protect your engine from overheating. All you have to do is go to any participating Napa Auto Parts store and grab some Prestone antifreeze for $11.99 a gallon. That is Napa know-how. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I want my government to just leave me the hell alone.
The Joe Walsh Show.
I don't have a political party speaking for me. The Republican Party, the Democrat Party, for somebody like me who just wants my government to leave me alone, the Republicans and Democrats don't do squat for me. We need something else.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
I just want to be left alone.
Come to Cabela's Great Outdoor Days with special events and giveaways, plus doorbusters for 5 hours only, starting 8 a.m. Saturday, August 12th. Shop in-store and at Cabela's.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in. and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
7:36, the news, also a service of Jewel Osco. Shop Jewel's big 4-day sale. Save on 6-ounce Atlantic salmon portions, $3.49 each. Northwest sweet red cherries, only $1.49 a pound. Select varieties of Fritos or Cheetos, $1.78. Limit 4. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound 355, Veterans Memorial Tollway at Stop and Go from Boughton Road to Roosevelt after an earlier stall. Northbound Tri-State delays are from 111th to 75th. Plainfield Road to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Eden's 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Junction, outbound 22. Kennedy, 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 45. The Eisenhower's 1 hour from Thorndale to the post office, outbound 51 minutes. Stevenson from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, that's an hour, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic service of Cabela's. It's fall, time for you to hit the woods. But first, come to Cabela's Great Outdoor Days, special events and giveaways, plus doorbusters for 5 hours only, starting 8 a.m. Saturday, August 12th. Shop in store and at Cabela's.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, sun and clouds today. High 83. We're seeing spotty rain showers way to the west this morning in Freeport, headed for DeKalb as well. 65 officially at O'Hare, 69 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by MyPainChicago.com. World-class treatment for chronic pain. Go to MyPainChicago.com.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Some reaction and a lot of overreaction to President Trump's choice of words and responding to Kim Jong-un and the other, the sycophants over there in North Korea as to their threats of a nuclear attack directed against U.S. territory, most specifically Guam, which, of course, is a big concern to Hank Johnson.
Yeah.
Rexon, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, responded yesterday to kind of clarify the president's posture.
And he said that, President Trump is getting support from the State Department. We can all sleep easier.
So the American people should sleep well at night. What the president was doing is sending a strong message to North Korea in language that Kim Jong-un would understand, because he doesn't seem to understand diplomatic language.
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. And, oh, by the way, for those that are hyperventilating about Trump's choice of words, and it wouldn't have been mine, but I mean to suggest that his response will precipitate nuclear winter, as some are actually suggesting in political cartoons and op-eds, which are kind of word salads that are political cartoons. General James Mattis, is he a serious guy? Yeah. SecDef Mattis said the DPRK must choose to stop isolating itself and stand down in pursuit of nuclear weapons. The DPRK should cease any consideration of actions that would lead to an end of its regime and the destruction of its people. Would you say that's on the tone and tenor of what President Trump said yesterday with his fire and fury comment? I'd say so. So do you want to, you want to accuse you want to accuse SecDef Mattis of being Dr. Strangelove too, like many on the left are doing, and some, erstwhile members of the center right as well. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Deputy Assistant to the President. He is Sebastian Gorka. Dr. Gorka, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Good morning.
So, your reaction to the reaction to President Trump's comments, and particularly in light of what Tillerson and Mattis had to say in follow-up.
I find it really quite incredible that so many journalists and commentators don't know how a government works. Rex Tillerson is not the Secretary of Defense. He's our most senior diplomat. General Mattis, Secretary Mattis, runs our military enterprise, the Department of Defense. And above both of them is the only individual in America who bears the rank of Commander-in-Chief, and that is President Donald J. Trump. So the idea that there's any kind of dissonance between language has completely ignores the fact that each man has his own portfolio, and Rex Tillerson is not responsible for the military, and Secretary Mattis is not responsible for diplomacy. And Secretary Tillerson was absolutely right. When you're dealing with literally a Stalinistic dictatorship like North Korea, there comes a point when they threaten us with the use of force and illegal ballistic missiles, threaten the island of Guam, where diplomatic language has no utility anymore, and you use stronger language. If you do anything else, you continue to appease a dictatorship, which is what we have been doing since the Clinton administration. And appeasement didn't work in Munich in 1938 with Hitler, and it's not going to work today with the regime in Pyongyang.
Well, and here's the other thing. I mean, here's what the D.C. press corps has done from time immemorial, so a little historical context is always warranted. Not that this is of the same quality what Trump had to say, in my opinion, but, I mean, remember how the press decried Ronald Reagan for calling the Soviet Union the evil empire, and that was going to precipitate nuclear winter.
Right. So it's like, do you remember, that's just even recent history. We had the last administration, which really was a product of the establishment left-wing appeasement philosophy. What did they say about Iran? Why did we have to? Why was it essential to sign the JCPOA Iran deal? Because they said, if you don't sign the deal, there will be war. I mean, that level of unsophisticated thinking is what we're seeing reflected by those journalists and commentators who can't deal with the fact that November the 8th happened and Hillary Clinton is not the President of the United States. We have a grave threat. Think about this. We have a historic vote last weekend, 15-0 in the UN Security Council, which means what? Russia and China agreed with us to create the most stringent sanctions package on North Korea in history. Why? Because this is a global threat, and the time for diplomacy is coming to an end.
But shouldn't we try? I mean, what should China's role be in all of this?
Well, China has the most leverage regionally. If you look at its role, if you look at the fact that it has kept North Korea alive, basically, after the failure of its economy. Think about this. The populace of North Korea is 2 to 3 inches shorter than the average member of the South Korean population. That's a nation that literally cannot feed its own people. It lives or dies based upon the imports from China. Therefore, there is massive diplomatic, political, and economic leverage that China has. Hopefully, China voting with us last weekend has sent the requisite message to the dictatorship that they have no friends left, and it is now up to them to de-escalate.
Well, Dr. Gorka, you're making it sound as if we're going to go to war.
Not at all. Not at all. That's the opposite of what I said. I said it is up to Pyongyang to de-escalate.
And the impact of the economic sanctions that were imposed, you mentioned that accomplishment and the Security Council unanimity on the topic. What is the hope that those economic sanctions will induce the North Koreans to do other than stand down, and on what timeline?
Well, look, the Rex Tillerson at the ASEAN 3 days ago made it very, very clear. He said it's very easy. North Korea can send an unequivocal message to us and to the rest of the world that they understand that they cannot continue to threaten and to use nuclear blackmail against our nations. And the way they do that is to say we will no longer have these illegal ballistic missile tests. If they said that, and if they followed through, we would see that as a sign of good faith, that there is no need for this situation to get worse. And that is a very, very simple measure. It costs them nothing, and we will wait and see whether they provide that signal to the world.
I want to skip back to the Western Hemisphere, the disintegration of Venezuela, the backing of Venezuela by our new partners in peace, the Cubans, who apparently are trying to poison or otherwise negatively impact the health of U.S. diplomats in Havana. What's the president's posture towards American policy in Venezuela in particular?
Well, I think, we have shown the complete change in our attitude to these kinds of regimes as of January the 20th. So we call these regimes what they are. Maduro is a dictator. North Korea is a dictatorship as well. We're not going to believe in the last 8 years of all nations fundamentally want to get along, and we can have fancy conferences in Vienna or Geneva and come to some agreement. Wrong. When a nation denies its people their liberty, their individual dignity, because we have no problem. We are not against the people of Venezuela. They are suffering. They are captive people. We have no problem with the people of North Korea. It is the regimes, and these are evil regimes. We're not going to sweep things under the rug. We are going to call out evil when we see it, and we understand that when good men do nothing, evil wins.
All right, he is Dr. Sebastian Gorka, Deputy Assistant to President Donald Trump, also the author of the book Defeating Jihad, by the way. Dr. Gorka, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day. God bless.
And let's quickly go to Al in Naperville. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, I just wanted to remind all the people that are really worried about that strong rhetoric leading to nuclear winter that they could look on the bright side. Nuclear winter might solve global warming.
Yeah, thanks for the silver lining, Al. Appreciate that.
Well, and then North Korea, yesterday they came out saying we're going to strike, by the end of the month. So, it's imminent that it's going to happen. And then this morning they're saying that they might be able to hit Guam. They're not sure. They just want to get somewhere around Guam. Because we have 2 military bases on Guam. It's about the size of Chicago. 170,000 people live there. So now they're kind of, we're going to try to reach it.
Well, they're not sure if Hank Johnson's going to be able to tow it out of the target zone in time. Hank Johnson, of course, famously worried about deploying more Marines on Guam, causing the island to capsize. He is trying to move Guam. He's got some tugboats out there that's going to pull Guam closer to the mainland.
Where is he? Don't tell me he died. Is he dead? Oh.
He's a member of Congress. He's a Democrat from Georgia. He's still in Congress. That's where he is.
He still has his position, even after saying that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
my God.
Do you think there are intellectual standards to be a member of Congress?
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, Chicago's Morning Answer team made some news yesterday.
Yeah, you got Ron Johnson in trouble.
Well, bigger question. Will Senator Ron Johnson ever come on this program ever again? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. Weather for today, we're going to have a blend of sun and clouds. Really, we are, really. Really? A high of 83 degrees. Then tonight for the Bears preseason game against the Broncos. It's going to be nice, but you may want to bring some rain gear. We'll have a passing shower or thunderstorm between 8 and 9 o'clock tonight. And then Friday, just clouds and sun, a passing shower, thunderstorm, a high of 79 degrees. Let's get into our alarm detection systems traffic center. Here is Jim Delamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Dan, good morning. Traffic is really heavy on the northbound Veterans Memorial, 355, from Boughton all the way up to St. Charles. Southbound side is fine. The Eden's 21 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 22. The Kennedy, 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 45. The Eyes and Howards, now 61 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, 48 from Manheim, outbound 51 to Thorndale, Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42 minutes. Bryan from 95th to downtown is 30 minutes. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, just a little heavy around Fullerton. Northbound slow Roosevelt to Jackson. Tri-state delays are northbound. 95th to the Mile Long Bridge. Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway most of the way to Lawrence. Jim Talamonte and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Napa know-how.
The Napa Legend battery does legendary things, like starting your car when the heat index hits $1.25, or making sure your AC stays running like a gazelle. And now, when you buy a Napa Legend battery, you'll get a prepaid Visa card by mail worth $15. $15 back and a new battery? That's not just legendary. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 8/31/17.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace has grown to 5,000 stores and counting. That's twice as many helpful locations as those big warehouse stores combined. But we're not just about numbers. We're about helping neighbors, because each one of our stores is part of your community. To celebrate, join us for the 5,000 store sale. We have daily offers and incredible savings throughout the store for 4 days only. Hurry in! The 5,000 store sale ends Monday, only at your neighborhood Ace. Offers valid at participating stores Friday through Monday only. See store for details.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mark Weingart, President and CEO of Star Creations, Inc., the fastest growing supplier of wall decor products in the U.S. When it comes to banking, I don't want to be a small fish in a big pond. That's why I bank at Signature Bank Chicago. At Signature Bank, every customer is important. I know I can pick up the phone and talk to any one of the decision makers I know and trust at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, they understand and respond to the unique needs of my business with flexibility and fairness. I'm proud to bank with Signature Bank because I know they're deeply invested in the success of Star Creations.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you stuck in a bad home mortgage? Well, join the club that has about 10 million other American families. But I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest legal analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, I guarantee you'll never be alone in this country.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. We all know increasing revenue's tough, but did you know that 100% of main sources of income fail? The odds are 100% that your current main source of income will someday no longer exist. 439 of 1955's original Fortune 500 are no longer around, yet their industries and even their product lines still thrive. What happened to these companies? Simple. They didn't believe that 100% of main sources of income fail. They never added a second revenue model. For years, my friends at Income Store have helped both households and businesses build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Go to IncomeStore.com today. That's IncomeStore.com.
Napa know-how.
The Napa Legend battery does legendary things, like starting your car when the heat index hits $1.25, or making sure your AC stays running like a gazelle. And now, when you buy a Napa Legend battery, you'll get a prepaid Visa card by mail worth $15. $15 back and a new battery? That's not just legendary. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 8/31/17.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace has grown to 5,000 stores and counting. That's twice as many helpful locations as those big warehouse stores combined. But we're not just about numbers. We're about helping neighbors, because each one of our stores is part of your community. To celebrate, join us for the 5,000 store sale. We have daily offers and incredible savings throughout the store for 4 days only. Hurry in! The 5,000 store sale ends Monday, only at your neighborhood Ace. Offers valid at participating stores Friday through Monday only. See store for details.
If your roof is needy, if your roof is leaky,
Call Grumweedy.
if your roof isn't right after it's stormy and shingles are curly,
Call Grumweedy.
If your roof is looking needy, call Crumweedy. This is Mark Olson of Crumweedy.
And I'm Greg Olson from Crumweedy. We are a third-generation family-run business. We've been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953.
You really can't do that unless you do really amazing roofs. We share the same conservative values as you, and we really want to do your roof. Here's what you can expect.
First, no high pressure. You make the choice. Whatever option you choose, count on getting a roof that lasts at a fair price.
You see, application is really the key. We follow the manufacturer's specifications so your warranty is intact. You know, a lot of companies don't do that, and that could really void your warranty.
No horror stories here. The roof you need that will fix your problems. When your roof is needy,
Call Grumweedy.
for your needy roof, go to myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah, baby. Amy, you got Ron Johnson in trouble, and that wasn't very nice. He was on our show on Tuesday, and we were talking about McCain's vote against skinny repeal, quote unquote. And here's what Ron Johnson had to say about that.
Uh-oh.
There seemed to be mistrust of Paul Ryan, that his commitment wasn't good enough for McCain, where it was good enough for you and for Graham.
Well, we did get a call from Paul, and he assured us that skinny repeal is not going to pass the House, and it would have to go to conference. Again, I'm not going to speak for John McCain. You know, he has a brain tumor right now. That vote occurred at 1:30 in the morning. Some of that might have factored in.
Really? I mean, he did, get out. He just had recovered from getting the brain tumor removed and then flew all the way to Washington, D.C. But you really think that played a factor in his judgment call?
Again, I don't know exactly what we really thought that. And again, I don't want to speak for any senator. I really thought John was going to vote yes to send that to conference at 10:30 at night. By about 1:30, he voted no. So you have to talk to John in terms of what was on his mind.
And then that answer, Ron Johnson's answer, became a national story.
Yeah, I heard about it this morning.
Yeah, a national story. And then your really catchphrase is now sweeping the nation in response.
Really?
The Republican senator's theory of why John McCain voted against the Senate health care plan left even a radio host stunned.
He has a brain tumor right now. That vote occurred at 1:30 in the morning. Some of that might have factored in.
Really?
Yeah,
that was the tease this morning on CNN.
Let's cut that. Get that over to Dumont over at the Museum of Broadcast Communications. You're going to want to vault that over there.
But real quickly, I honestly don't think John McCain's brain tumor had anything to do with it. He was clairvoyant. He knew exactly what he was doing. He told people before when he was walking in. He told the reporter, he's like, just stick around and you want to see what I'm going to do. Yeah. So he knew what he was doing. The brain tumor did not affect his judgment.
And we knew what we were doing, walking Ron Johnson right into that ambush for cheap national press. No, we're kidding. And, right. So Ron Johnson apologized.
Yes.
And it'll go away and it'll be fine and he'll be back on the show.
Yes. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer
is letting your kid play football child abuse at 8:08.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a father of 4 shot and killed in Westtown. The investigation continues. A 7-Eleven sued over the Cook County soda tax. J.B. Pritzker may have picked a running mate. Some rabid bats have been found in Naperville. The Bears under the lights tonight, opening preseason against the Broncos, and the White Sox hammered the Astros. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
They dismissed the president's fire and fury message
as a load of nonsense. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. North Korea not stopping the threats, it's getting more specific.
A North Korea news release saying that the plan is for 4 Hwasong-12 intermediate-range ballistic missiles will strike within 19 to 25 miles from the tiny island. The trajectory would likely pass over Japan, who is vowing a stronger reaction themselves, and the plan could be sent to Kim Jong-un within a week.
That's Fox's Griff Jenkins. Guam's governor says there is concern but not panic on the island. He's urging people to go about their daily lives. Amid U.S. calls for China to do more to rein in North Korea, something the Chinese won't like. Fox's Rachel Sutherland explains live in Washington.
Dave, the USS John McCain sailed within 12 nautical miles of one of China's man-made islands in the South China Sea. China has built several islands in the region, which it claims as its territory. The U.S. and international community say the South China Sea is international waters. The passage of the destroyer amounts to a protest of sorts known as a freedom of navigation. This is the third operation of its kind since President Trump took office. Dave?
Rachel, what was a hurricane is now hitting Mexico's east coast. Tropical storm Franklin could cause flash floods, dumping a foot of rain or more in certain areas. It was the first hurricane in the Atlantic this year, and forecasters have increased how many more we could see.
We're getting into peak season, and that means the tropics are heating up, and the National Hurricane Center is now saying 14 to 19 storms. We could see 5 to 9 hurricanes, 2 to 5, which could be major.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean, a firefighter recruit, has been fired in Florida, and 3 others have resigned over a scandal in Pompano Beach the fire chief says he won't tolerate. On the last day of training in June, a noose was left hanging over the chair of the only black recruit. They claimed it was a joke. Fox News, fair and balanced.
In Chicago this morning, 70 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. We're following breaking and developing details after one person was killed in a police-involved shooting in Dyer, Indiana, after a chase with a stolen car that hit a pedestrian in Sauk Village. Situation began early this morning in the South Chicago suburb of Crete, where police got into a chase with the driver of a stolen vehicle that and the driver of that stolen vehicle ended up stealing another car. Members of more than a dozen police agencies then responded to the scene and took up the chase. Lake County, Indiana sheriffs, Dyer, Indiana, Will County sheriffs, Steger Police, and Crete Police, among others. The stolen vehicle was driven into Lake County, Indiana, where an officer there shot and killed the offender. It's unknown if the officer involved in the shooting was from Dyer or nearby St. John, Indiana. No one hurt following a long standoff in Chicago's Back of the Yards neighborhood. Police say SWAT teams were called out last night after a person was barricaded inside an apartment in the 5200 block of South Green Street. Crews remain on the scene mopping up after a massive fire on Chicago's south side. Fire started early this morning inside 2 vacant buildings near 53rd Place and Peoria. Another business is being sued over the Cook County soda tax. Chicago woman who filed suit yesterday against 7-Eleven, claiming that she was charged the tax on an unsweetened coffee bought Monday at the store on South Dearborn. As Democrats prepare to slate candidates for upcoming elections, Democratic gubernatorial candidate J.B. Pritzker is set to announce later today his running mate for the 2018 nomination. The venture capitalist has chosen Illinois Representative Juliana Stratton. Giants over the Cubs 3-1, while the White Sox beat the Astros 7-1, and the Bears raise the curtain on the preseason tonight at Soldier Field. The news service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99, plus $3 disposal fee for tires, oil service, and repairs. National Tire and Battery, that's all you need. It's 8:05, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com. Providing the right climate for business since 1935. And time to check the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network, a service of turnkey.pro. This morning, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, more people were shopping at Kohl's in the spring and early summer. While many retail companies are dealing with a retail recession and slumping sales, Kohl's managed to see a small increase in its recent quarter compared with a year ago, and it says foot traffic accelerated. Kohl's earnings were stronger than forecast. Meal kit company Blue Apron lost money in its recent quarter, but it's reporting some encouraging signs. Blue Apron says its number of customers increased 23% from a year ago, and it is making more money per customer. Fast food sales are growing faster than the U.S. economy, says USA Today. McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's are all seeing sales pick up more than 3%. That's at a stronger pace than the economy has seen for 10 years. The Dow was down 36 yesterday. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 in Chicago. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance. But they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling that you're safe to enjoy the things that matter most. ADT lets you take that feeling with you, whether you're at home, your business, or online. We help keep you safe with security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling for less than $1 a day. ADT. Home. Safe home.
You started your business because you have something special to offer, and you want customers to know it from the moment you hand them your card. That's why now is the time to go to Vistaprint.com to get 500 customized, high-quality business cards starting at just $9.99. Choose everything about your card with thousands of customizable designs for every industry, and our support specialist standing by to help. Head to Vistaprint.com to get 500 business cards starting at $9.99. Use promo code 6655 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 6655.
8:07 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound Lakeshore Drive traffic is slow. Belmont to Fullerton, then it's stop and go Michigan Avenue to Chicago Avenue. There's been a collision there involving a pedestrian across Lakeshore Drive. Fire crews are reporting to the scene. The Edens runs 20 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 26. The Kennedy. Now, 1 hour and 7 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 45 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express, outbound 48 to O'Hare. The Eisenhower, 1 hour and 11 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 49 minutes from Manheim, outbound 59 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 1 hour and 10 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42 minutes. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State slow, 95th to the Mile Long Bridge. The Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway most of the way up to Lawrence. Northbound Veterans Memorial jam, Fountain to St. Charles, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. The latest with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Sun and clouds today, high 83, then becoming partly cloudy tonight with a shower or thunderstorm, low 66. A mix of clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around during the day tomorrow, high 79. A mainly clear night, low tomorrow night, 62. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
66 at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you sure your business is being seen online? Visit beingseen360.com to discover how being seen online can improve traffic, leads, and sales. beingseen360.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Baha'i.
It's the Baha'i Temple.
It's not the Baja Beach Club Temple. It's Baha'i Temple in Wilmette.
Yeah, because we were playing at Canal Shores Golf yesterday.
Yeah, it's the Baha'i Temple.
I thought it was the Baja Temple my whole life, and I thought it's Jewish.
No, it's not Jewish. What is wrong with you?
What is it?
Oh, my. Where to begin?
The Baja Temple? What?
The Baha'i Temple.
What denomination is the Baha'i Temple?
I'm going to let you do a little independent research. I think I've contributed enough education to you and your family and your fellow Mount Prospect friend
Everybody
circle.
in Mount Prospect, we'd always go to the Baja Temple and hang out by the beach.
Maybe when you think that when you're 8 years old and then you grow up and learn stuff.
Oh, will you stop it? Is it really
Yeah.
Baha'i? What are you pronouncing?
I mean, it's not that. Am I Baha'i Temple?
No.
Not Jewish. No. Okay. Switching gears.
Oh my gosh.
While Amy does some comparative religion study, you're this guy that you love, Dr. Bennett Omalu.
Oh, he's the best.
Omalu, right?
Omalu. That's the
Baha'i?
He's the doctor.
Baha'i doctor.
He's the doctor that the movie Concussion was based in.
Yeah. They're
Great
terrible
movie.
actress.
I bought it for you, and you still haven't watched it.
Terrible actress Will Smith played him in the movie. He's a neuropathologist and an expert in the study of the effects of concussions, thus his story being told poorly by Will Smith. He reacted to that study that we talked about the other week that found 110 of 111 former NFLers who donated their brains suffered from chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is the CTE, concussion syndrome. And he went on to say, Omalu, that letting your children play football is the definition of child abuse. Do you agree with that? That any parent who lets their child play football is a child abuser? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Omalu said during an event in New York, someday there will be a district attorney who will prosecute for child abuse on the football field, and it will succeed. It's the definition of child abuse. If you play football and if your child plays football, there's 100% risk exposure. There's nothing like making football safer. That's a misnomer. Should parents be prosecuted for child abuse for letting their children play football?
Well, I do know somebody that went to a high school near here who he didn't want to play football, but his dad was so into football and he wanted to be in the band, and he was in the band. And during halftime, he would leave the field, dress up in his band uniform, perform, and then dress back into his football uniform and play football.
Is that someone you?
No.
Are you just using a fake composite? Is that actually you?
Well, because the problem, he died on the football field. He had a brain aneurysm. He got hit really hard, and then he died right there on the football field. And it was just awful because his passion was never to play football, but his passion was to please his father, who wanted for him to play football.
This was a classmate of yours?
He was older than me, but yeah, he went to Hersey High School. And it was awful because everybody thought it was abusive because he never wanted to play football. His father wanted him to play football.
Well, okay, so, being pressured by parents to play is...
Isn't that abuse, though? I mean...
Well, no. Let's take the easier case.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's an easy case, too. It's not child abuse, for gosh sakes. Yeah, I think you should go out for the team. I don't want to. You gotta do it anyway. And he does. Yeah. I mean, unless he was being forced against his will. But the other case, the kid wants to play football, and the parent lets him. Is that child abuse?
But knowing what you know now about CTE and study after study, and when you watch Concussion or you read the book, it's just, isn't it abusive knowing that your kid could die or have a brain disease where they're going to be more aggressive? The chances of them committing suicide are higher?
Well, there's different... look, there's still a lot of research to be done, and we talked through that with one of the neuropathologist from Boston University the other week when the study came out. So there's a lot they don't know yet. There's certainly some very disturbing evidence that has been collected. And, of course, there's been terrible instances, and anecdotally, suicides. Dave Duerson, Junior Seau, others, the Mike Webster story that was chronicled in Concussion. Terrible stories. There's also terrible stories about early onset dementia and Parkinson's with respect to professional boxers. But I guess since boxing is not as prevalent as football these days, there's less focus on it. But what about other contact sports, even at the high school level, including soccer? Now I understand the argument is, well, this is football is a crash on every play. It's the build up, the repetition of the hitting that you don't have in basketball or soccer or baseball.
It's the equivalent of getting hit by a car sometimes. The force is so strong.
But what's the threshold for calling something child abuse? Because, of course, at the high school level, because kids are still learning how to play the game, there's a greater incidence of concussions, at least the recent data suggests, greater incidence of concussions in soccer than football. So because that happens, if you let your kid play soccer, is that child abuse too? Because you're exposing them to head injuries? I mean, to some extent, the kind of the helicopter parent has to, give way to the reality that everything involves some risk in life. Right. Now, reasonable risk versus unreasonable risk, I suppose, if we're going to get into the legalese of this. And maybe Amalu is just trying to make a point by being a little bit hyperbolic. I don't think if your kid wants to play football and you let him play football, that's child abuse. I mean, we're going to have.
Well, then if you know that they've had concussions, and after 2 concussions, if you allow them to keep playing, is that then child abuse?
Well, you have concussion protocols that govern down to the high school, down to the grade school level.
Well, for us, it's 2. If you have 2 concussions in soccer, you're not playing anymore.
Well, so that you just answered your own question.
Well, that was for soccer. I don't know what for football.
But there's concussion protocols. Right. That's the point. So, we're going to have to build a lot more jails. We're going to have a lot more foster parents if we're going to put all the parents who let their kids play football in jail, don't you think? Lee in Hammond, Indiana, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, hi. I just don't understand the hypocrisy and hyperventilation in this society where things like football they're all over that, yet at the same time, boxing, mixed martial arts, that's fine. It's like when you're in a car, you have to have a seatbelt on, but motorcycles are fine. It's like the control freaks just latch onto something like this and have a field day.
Well, thanks for the call, Lee. Yeah, I think that's part of it. Oh, we've got an abuser on the line. Mark in Glenview, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. I listen every morning, and I actually followed you down the dial I live in Glenview. I live in a nice suburb. I love football. I got 2 kids that play college football. I got a.
Where do they play?
And
wait, hold on, Mark. Where do your kids play college?
Right down the road in Deerfield in Trinity.
Oh, okay, great. Okay.
I just don't. I don't understand parents that say that, and then you wait 5 years and their kids grow up to be, a college dropout and a thug. I just think it's a great sport if it's coached properly. And in Glenview, we have a great head coach and good program. And they don't hit that often. I've never had a kid have a head injury on football. A lot of broken bones. I've had, my kids had broken collarbones, a torn ACL, but never a head injury. And they test these kids very safe now. They do impact testing, and if there's a game and the kid looks, because we got trainers on every field, and even if we play a high school that's not fortunate enough to have trainers, our trainers look out for their players too. But if someone just got a sinus headache, they take you out of practice.
Oh. Thanks for the call, Mark. Yeah, I mean, and one of the other things that Mark is pointing to that's under-discussed when the whole topic of football comes up, like when there was talk about banning boxing, which, comes and goes, is the benefits of team sport, what you learn as a young boy or girl playing team sports. The value there and the mentoring you get from your adult coaches and so forth.
No, I wouldn't change it for anything in the world.
Every kid should play sports. I mean, participate at some level. When it comes to high school level and there's cuts and stuff, you don't want to play sport anymore. You want to be in band or you want to do drama, whatever. Fine, of course. But sports is so valuable beyond the winning and losing on the field, and that needs to be discussed too in the context of football or any other sport.
Well, it teaches you how to work together as a team, and that you don't think of yourself. That you rely on others. It's a team effort.
It's a team effort to injure the other side, which is what you want to focus on.
Well, right, to kill the other side. It's okay to be aggressive, and it's okay to be aggressive, too, if you're a woman, if you're a girl.
That's right.
Good.
Because
tear the person's head off.
At least when I was playing organized sports, I remember God always being on my side, so whatever I did was fine.
And I don't know
God was on my side.
Right, because you went to Bennett.
God wanted me to win.
Exactly. You can't go wrong with the man upstairs. And I don't know if you've heard, but the coaches at Blaine Elementary are fantastic.
Anti-Catholic bigots. Text from Jerry Stoklos. My sons have been playing tackle since he. My sons have been playing tackle since he. My son has been playing tackle. Excuse me. Since he was 7, he wouldn't change a thing. He's a senior in high school now. He knows the risks. Okay.
If the parents know the risks and the kids know the risks, then
so you want to watch
it's
that?
their decision for now, but that could change.
Did you? You didn't play football growing up?
I didn't.
You weren't the kicker trying to break the glass ceiling?
No, because I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather play volleyball and basketball and be in choir. Okay? It's in show choir.
No hitting in show choir.
There's jazz hands in show choir.
Peter in Vernon Hills.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I just wanted to say I've played football for 2 years, and there's just a danger in all sports, not only football.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're in high school or?
Just going into high school.
Just going into high school. Okay, great.
Yeah.
And what do like your friends say about it too? Are they concerned? Is this a topic that you guys talk about or no?
Yeah, I mean, some of my friends are different ways. Some of them say that, it just, there's danger in all the sports, and then some of them say that they're a little bit more hesitant about, getting in when the ball and, tackling the guy because they're afraid of getting hurt.
Right.
And so it goes both ways with my friends. So I don't know.
But you're enjoying playing football, and you're planning on playing in high school?
Yeah. It's very fun.
Okay.
I mean, it's a fun sport, and always a risk.
Thanks for the call, Peter. Appreciate it.
Peter.
Good luck in high school. It's good to get actual player's perspective rather than all these old people like you talking about it. Bob in Lake Villa, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, I was just wondering if it would be considered child abuse if you would allow your child to be able to be part of the military or to drive a car before the age of 25 or to become a police officer or fireman. I mean, you're all talking about high-risk types of activities, and I'm wondering how that compares to the percentage of people that get injured, specifically brain-type things with football.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Bob. I mean, it's a fair point. I mean, obviously, adult decisions at the age of consent, but prior to that, right? Football is hardly the only activity that involves risk. I mean, look, show choir can involve risk. I mean, God only knows how many eardrums Amy Jacobson blew during show choir.
Well, those kickball changes could be a little violent.
It's true.
Kickball change. You can you run into each other.
Yeah.
Boom. Next thing you know.
Right, you're on the
Jude
ground.
Navarro was on the ground.
Oh, boy.
He was a well-known show choir.
Rest in peace, Jude Navarro.
No, Jude's alive.
Oh, he is. Oh,
Yeah,
great.
he's a
He survived his
composer, too.
injuries.
Yes, he survived.
Debbie in Mundelein.
Hi. When my son was younger, he wanted to play football, but I wouldn't let him because I was more concerned about back injuries than head injuries because my brother played through high school and had hurt his back very badly.
Yeah.
And I finally let him play in 8th grade, and that killed his wanting to play.
Okay, yeah, they got to find out for themselves. All right, thanks for the call, Debbie. I mean, I think, look, as a mathlete, There's sometimes that makes my head proving theorems. I can make my head hurt.
A mathlete?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Mathlete, Scholastic Bowl, competitive Dungeons and Dragons. Some of the sports that I enjoyed.
Weren't you on the chess club?
No, I mean I played chess, but no, they wouldn't have me in the club.
Were you a male cheerleader?
No, we didn't have male.
Oh, we had male cheerleaders. A lot of them got scholarships at Big Ten schools.
Those weren't men.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Does how you feel interfere with your lifestyle? Take control before it does. Harvard Medical recently published a paper on how to decrease your risk of cancer, heart disease, blood pressure, diabetes, bowel and vision problems. The answer, backed by dozens of studies, is not vitamins. It's eating more fruits and vegetables in their whole, complete form. 4 simple tips that I've used with my patients over the years are: 1. Keep fruits and vegetables where you can see them readily. 2. Get crazy. Explore the produce aisle and choose something new. 3. Make it a meal. Try new recipes that include more vegetables and fruits. And the easiest of all, to get the complete nutrition of 31 different fruits and vegetables every day, take Balance of Nature.
What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
Hey, looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to do what I did and call David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. Tim, 54, divorced police officer, score 646, living in a $320,000 home in Frankfurt.
Must be nice.
Called to refinance his ex-wife off his mortgage to comply with the divorce decree. A member of David's team of 15 professionals and experienced loan officers, Cindy Piazza, helped Tim refinance his home, removed Tim's ex-wife from the mortgage and deed of his home, and reduced his payment $240 a month. Wow. So let's review. Tim removed his ex from his mortgage and deed and saved close to $3,000 a year. Unfortunately, according to divorcestatistics.com, more than 40% of marriages end in divorce. So if you're divorced and need to refinance, stop procrastinating. Pick up the phone and call David now, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. David, help me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
Listen up. Pop quiz. What sound do you make but never hear? That's your snoring, and it might explain why your family wakes up cranky. Believe me, they can hear it, even if you can't. I'm Trina Webster.
And I'm Dan Webster. I tried everything to stop snoring, including surgery. Trina and I figured there had to be a better solution, and we found it. We call it Z-Quiet because that's exactly what you get, a quiet night's sleep. Just go to getzquiet.com.
Z-Quiet is so easy to wear, and it works right out of the box. Over 1 million men and women have kicked snoring out of bed thanks to Z-Quiet, and you can too.
We're proud to say that Z-Quiet is made right here in the USA. Go to getzquiet.com and sleep quiet with Z-Quiet.
Z-Quiet fits both men and women. To try Z-Quiet for 30 days for just $9.95, go to getzquiet.com or text SNORE to 91011. That's getzquiet.com or text SNORE to 91011.
Napa know-how.
The Napa Legend battery does legendary things, like starting your car when the heat index hits $1.25. Or making sure your AC stays running like a gazelle. And now, when you buy a Napa Legend battery, you'll get a prepaid Visa card by mail worth $15. $15 back and a new battery? That's not just legendary. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 8/31/17.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace has grown to 5,000 stores and counting. That's twice as many helpful locations as those big warehouse stores combined. But we're not just about numbers. We're about helping neighbors, because each one of our stores is part of your community. To celebrate, join us for the 5,000 store sale. We have daily offers and incredible savings throughout the store for 4 days only. Hurry in! The 5,000 store sale ends Monday, only at your neighborhood Ace. Offers valid at participating stores Friday through Monday only. See store for details.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, speaking of football, the
Yeah.
Steelers are playing the Bears at Soldier Field this year. It's in October.
Yeah.
I bought my tickets yesterday. Are you going to go? Because that's your team.
Yeah, you want to talk about abuse. Let's see what the Steelers do to the hapless Bears. That's going to be abuse.
Are you going to go?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, you're going to go. It's a noon game. It's
All right,
perfect.
yeah, I'll put that in my day book.
I have a plan. I have plans for you for that day. You'll like it. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know how the conventional wisdom is that Republican Party success depends on fiscal conservatism economically and moderation socially? That's the exact opposite of how Trump won at 8:38.
And later, it's not a rally cap, it's a rally cat. Who's going to adopt that good luck charm? But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
70 degrees, partly sunny skies at 8:31. Some are calling on President Trump to tone down his rhetoric regarding North Korea, but others this morning say they're not bothered by it, including Republican Representative Peter King of New York, who sits on the Homeland Security Committee.
I mean, President Eisenhower ended the fighting in Korea by specifically threatening to use nuclear weapons. So that would have been the U.S. making a preemptive use of nuclear weapons. So this isn't unusual or unprecedented for this type of talk, and it worked. It caused North Korea to back down.
Republican Marco Rubio also unfazed by the Trump tough talk, telling reporters that rhetoric is not the problem. The problem, he says, is a, quote, lunatic in North Korea, end quote. State Department says 2 Cuban diplomats have been kicked out of the country after incidents involving Americans at the U.S. Embassy in Havana.
So some U.S. government personnel who were working at our embassy in Havana, Cuba, on official duty, so they were there working on behalf of the U.S. Embassy there. They've reported some incidents which have caused a variety of physical symptoms.
Spokeswoman Heather Nauer did not go into details. She did explain they reported unexplained physical ear problems and had to return to the U.S. Developments in Pennsylvania this morning. A 3-judge appeals panel has unanimously reinstated a defamation lawsuit against former Pennsylvania Attorney General Kathleen Kane by a former state prosecutor and former state police commissioner. Researchers at Arizona State University this morning say they're trying to come up with an effective vaccine for the Zika virus, and they're using a plant known to do more harm than good. ASU scientists are using tobacco to find an effective medicine for the disease. That report published yesterday in Scientific Reports. Ahead of the open on Wall Street, more Americans filing for new claims for unemployment benefits, 244,000, according to this morning's report from the Labor Department. One person was killed in a police-involved shooting in Dyer, Indiana, after a chase with a stolen car that began with a struck pedestrian in Sauk Village, Illinois. No one hurt following a long standoff in Chicago's Back of the Yards neighborhood after a person was barricaded inside an apartment in the 5200 block of South Green. Another business being sued over the Cook County soda tax. A Chicago woman filing suit yesterday against 7-Eleven. Giants over the Cubs 3-1. White Sox go for the sweep of the Astros this evening after a 7-1 win last night. The news service of Dove Men Plus Care. Did you hear that 91% of guys that use Dove Men Plus Care, antiperspirant, recommend it? Dove Men Plus Care users say they don't know how it works, but it gets the job done. Pick up some new Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant for yourself at your local retailer. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
When you have sleep apnea, traveling can be a real drag because you have to drag your big, bulky home CPAP device with you everywhere you go. But not anymore. Now you can travel easily and sleep comfortably anywhere thanks to Transcend, the world's very first mini CPAP. And right now, you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. So call now, 1-800-600-4133. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. Transcend is so incredibly small and light, you can easily fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't delay. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-600-4133. Again, that's 1-800-600-4133.
All right, I have to admit it was an eyesore, the chipping and paint peeling on our front and back porch. It looked awful, but thanks to CertaPro painters, the porch looks brand new. The painters who showed up were professional, respectful. They were done in just a few hours, and when they left, the house looked brand new. They really are the best in the business, and it's not too late to book your exterior painting project. There are several spots open on CertaPro's summer schedule. Here's an idea. Let CertaPro painters transform your home while you're on vacation and return to a freshly painted house. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary this year, and so we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. For a free estimate, call 1-800-GO-CERTA, CERTA, or visit CertaPro.com, that's Certa with the C. Get that painting project off your to-do list. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
It is 8:36. Let's get a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, delays start at Nagel. It is an hour and 5 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 42 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express, outbound 43 to the airport. Eden's 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 35. The Eisenhower's an hour and 14 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. 54 minutes from Mannheim, outbound it's 53 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Bryan is 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, so Irving Park to Fullerton and Michigan Avenue to Chicago Avenue. Northbound heavy Roosevelt to Jackson. Northbound tri-state delays are from the Stevenson to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway most of the way to Lawrence. The Adams and Reagan Tollways are fine. Veterans Memorial heavy from Boughton to the Reagan Tollway and North Avenue to 290. Northbound 53 a bit tight, Algonquin to Kirchhoff. Southbound slow, Palatine Road to Kirchhoff. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Sun and clouds today, high of 83. We'll see spotty showers this afternoon, leading to a shower or thunderstorm overnight and a low of 66. Currently 69 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Wine Time Radio. Every Saturday at 5 p.m. on AM 560, explore the wonderful world of wine with host James Crooker and Rob Lehner.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, very interesting piece in the Wall Street Journal from George Mason University law professor F.H. Buckley.
Oh.
How Donald Trump won the election in two dimensions. This has particular application to Illinois and all of the surrender Republicans, super minority Republican leadership of this party over the last several decades that has gotten it completely wrong and in many respects continues to. So listen up. You think that Governor Rauner's path to re-election is to be socially liberal and economically free market? Is that what you think? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. That's the model, right? You hear a lot of Republicans say that, suburban Republicans. I'm fiscally conservative, but I'm socially moderate. That's the sweet spot, right? A 2016 voter questionnaire done by the voter study group's Lee Drutman looked beyond the recent left-right paradigm. Did a survey to identify how 2016 voters voted and how they felt about various economic and social issues. Mr. Drutman then mapped the results in a two-dimensional diagram, economic preferences on the horizontal, social preferences on the vertical. Most Hillary Clinton voters were deeply liberal on both axes. Trump voters, conservative on social issues, moderate on economic ones. 73% of all voters were left of center on economics. 73%. Most of the remaining Trump supporters were quite moderate on economic questions. The great majority of voters were liberal on economic issues. A small majority were social conservatives, enough to swing the election to Mr. Trump. Only 3.8% of voters were libertarians, meaning they were in the bottom quadrant where they're socially liberal and economically free market. 3.8%. Majority of the electorate, 52%. The crucial differences between the two parties, according to the research, came down to social concerns, including pride in America, immigration, and especially moral issues such as abortion and gay marriage. The social conservative awakening that helped elect Mr. Trump came when voters recognized that the liberal agenda amounted to something more than a shield to protect sexual minorities. It was also a sword to be used against social conservatives. Thus, the Obamacare mandates, the going after Little Sisters of the Poor and Hobby Lobby, using marriage redefinition to go after florists and bakers. That's when that's when it flipped on them. Buckley goes on to write, per the data, in particular, the Democrats gave the back of their hand to Catholic voters, the principal bloc of swing voters in America. Democrats of the past would have been horrified to learn that their party makes faithful Catholics feel unwanted. That's what they thought Republicans did, but Trump courted white Catholics, and they provided him with the winning margins in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Michigan. Those three states determined the outcome of the election, as we know. So here's the sweet spot in American politics. Good, bad, or indifferent, it's the data. And I've got some concerns about it because I'm not, I'm a free market economics guy. So this is not all good news, but it's important news to assess what the actual landscape is versus what you wish it was. The sweet spot in American politics is thus the upper left quadrant of the double majority. Economic liberals, not in the classical sense, meaning left, meaning government-directed economy, and social conservatives. It's the place where presidential elections are won. The winner is usually going to be the candidate who won't touch Social Security and who promises to nominate judges in the mold of Antonin Scalia. In other words, Donald Trump. Are you okay with that? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636, turnkey.pro text line. Now, I mean, I look at this in the Illinois context, since this is one of the, since this is the last brick in the former blue wall for Democrats in the Midwest. So Governor Rauner has got two pieces of legislation on his desk that he needs to act on by the end of the month. Transgender birth certificates and sanctuary state legislation.
Where does he stand on transgender birth certificates?
He's going to sign that, I believe. He's going to sign that bill. Now, no Republican senators voted for it.
Not one.
No.
Okay.
A handful of
state reps.
A handful of Republican state reps did. And if he signs sanctuary state, is that the right play? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. This would suggest it's not. Now, I know Illinois is not the nation. This is looking at 2016 voters nationally. But Illinois is, in many respects, particularly the suburbs, which is the swing region in determining the outcome. Are they all that different than the suburbs of Cleveland or the suburbs of Indianapolis or the suburbs of Detroit? Suburbs of Milwaukee? No, not really. So if that's true, then social liberalism, I mean, of course, Governor Rauner would say he has no social agenda, but the problem, as I said, would happen at the outset of his candidacy when he took this tack is, here's the problem. You can say you don't want to have a social agenda. Other people get to play the game, and they do have social agendas, and you're going to be pressed to make decisions on social social and moral issues. Every issue is a moral issue, but moral issues that are non-directly fiscal related. And so that's, of course, what's come to pass.
Do you think Governor Rauner's socially liberal and economically conservative?
Yeah. I think that's what
so
he is.
So he's part of the 3.8%.
Well, I mean, let's put it another way, going back to the national data here. Writes Buckley, based on, again, this research, a presidential candidate like Ted Cruz, who defines himself primarily through right-wing economic policies, begins with nearly 3/4 of the electorate in the other camp. So the idea that was promoted by never Trumpers and people like me or Ted Cruz supporters that that their favorite candidate would have also beaten Hillary, maybe not. Maybe it turns out that Trump was the only candidate who could beat Hillary in 2016 because of where the country is in terms of reliance on the state and how that influences their thinking about economics. So people choosing economic security, quote unquote, such as it is, provided by the government in exchange for capitalism, in exchange for entrepreneurial freedom.
Is there something about Donald Trump that got even some Democrats to switch over to the Republican Party, got people who hadn't voted for decades to register to vote again and get out on Election Day?
So if Governor Rauner signs, I mean, and again, this will be two pieces of legislation that are pending at the same time, and he's got to act on by the end of the month. So if you do transgender birth certificates and you did the sanctuary state legislation, if he signed both to try and appeal to traditional Democrat constituencies, I guess, in addition to, like, you know, the corporate moderate establishment Republican types who push this stuff, who have also been wrong. I mean, Romney was their standard bearer. How'd that go? If you do that, if Governor Rauner does that, that enhances chances to win in Illinois or hamper them. This, again, is not Illinois specific, but I think some back of the envelope extrapolation will tell you that it hampers them. Sean from Elmwood Park here in Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know, Dan, as I listen to you, what comes out when you said about this whole nonsense of fiscally for capitalism and socially not, you're straddling socialism. That's what you're describing.
Well, but here's the thing: we can rail against it all day long and make the case for free minds and free markets, but in terms of free markets, that's not where the electorate is, and there just has to be a recognition of it because there's a lot more work to do to persuade people towards free markets and away from government-centric economic policies. But that's not where we're at now, and you just have to recognize it.
It's a socialist hybrid. You're exactly right. It's a socialist hybrid. But now in the specifics of Rauner, and I told you this, and I wasn't kidding around earlier when I said there has never been a candidate who can be more easily taken out by a primary in state history than Rauner. The fact, if it wasn't going to be you, I was hoping it would be Truax or one of the other true conservative guys we have left in Illinois politics. But if that were to happen, I think there would be no question. Rauner, you wouldn't even talk about him if someone were to primary him. Because the truth is, people like us have no one. We have no one. This guy's not even close to what a Republican is. He's at best, he's just a stooge put up there to make it seem like we're not going to bail out the teachers union, which we are, or the pensions, which we are. They have no other direction. So you have to get somebody who's sympathetic to that. If you had somebody like you who could articulate, I don't care about your scam deal that was cut. It is about the people who are not in on the scam that must be represented. Who represents us, the people not on the scam? Nobody. So it's different versions of the same problem.
I know you're just angling for my job, Sean. So nice try. I get what you're doing. Nice try. Thanks for the call, Sean. I appreciate it.
But you did. I mean, how many votes did you get when you ran for governor? Or is this too soon to talk about? It's too painful. So.
Let's see. It was me, my mom, my dad.
I voted for you.
Amy.
What's wrong with it? Lissa voted for you.
Lissa, 6. I think I got 11. I'd have to go back and look at the actual numbers.
Uh-huh.
But I think
No,
I keep track of all my voters
No,
because
how
it's
many-
easy.
Hi. You're
Margo-
tracking one right now.
Margo and Burr Ridge.
Hi. Well, I have to vote with my wallet because I live in Illinois and I'm getting squeezed to death.
Oh, it's awful.
You know, when you consider, when I think about this business of being a sanctuary state, all I can think is, how can we afford it? When I hear that 50% of all births are now being covered by Medicaid, I paid for all my 3 kids, and when you think that out of all the immigrants, legal and illegal, of their headed households, 74% have to be on government relief. How can we keep encouraging this? We cannot afford it as a state or as as a country, but especially as a state. When you live in Illinois, we need to be looking for ways to cut, and we're going to make ourselves into a sanctuary state. Are you kidding me? It's insanity.
Thanks for the call, Margo. Candace and DuPage.
Hi, Dan. I did not know you before, but I mean, it is so silly that
Before
you
when?
run now and people actually know who you are. You would definitely win. You know, Marie and I were good campaigners. I would campaign for you all over Central Illinois, Decatur, Springfield, Champaign. You would definitely win. You could easily beat Rauner in a primary, easily.
No.
And I think that you could win. Listen, I think you could go to the South Side and win a lot of the black vote as well.
Yeah.
People don't like me, Candace. Thanks for the call.
Well, it's not that you're unlikable. Well, maybe. No,
Yeah,
I mean,
see, I know. That's what I'm saying. People don't.
it could be the obesity.
Yeah. I don't cut an attractive figure.
Oh.
I don't have the hair for it.
Oh, your hair's fine.
I mean, I don't have enough forehead. I need like more forehead like Lisa Madigan.
You have too much neck compared to J.B. Pritzker.
Too much neck and not enough forehead. That's the problem.
So gross.
Annie in Lakeview.
Oh, thank you for taking my
Oh,
call.
pleasure. Yeah. Hi.
I don't think anybody's going to vote in this election, really.
Nobody?
No.
Well, yeah, the Catholic maybe for Chris Kennedy. He's Catholic.
No, I'm not. I'm a Catholic. I'm not voting for Chris Kennedy.
Well, maybe we have the Catholic vote for him. I think the rest of the people are going to vote whoever they want, Pritzker or. I don't think it's going to. I don't think people want to vote. They're tired.
Yeah.
Real tired of it.
Are you going to vote, Annie?
Maybe split ticket. I don't know. For some people, I don't know who's running even besides governor. So.
Well, so where are you in the governor's race right now?
Actually, I wouldn't vote for the governor's race. I have no idea who to vote for.
Mm-hmm.
Governor Rauner.
Thanks for the call, Annie. Well, she's being honest. She's giving you her
Right.
perspective, and
Well,
this
I'm
is.
just saying she should vote for Governor Rauner.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, the governor Rauner appreciates that. I'm sure. I have no doubt. Maybe you should run.
No, I'm just going to run on a treadmill. That's the only
Why?
running I'm doing.
All your skeletons are out of the closet.
I really have nothing to hide.
I know.
Sorry.
Well, what do you think?
Yeah.
Let's see. Mount Prospect.
If I couldn't get the vote at Mount Prospect, then
We've got.
that would be bad.
We actually have an opening in
Oh, for
Mount
what?
Prospect
For a state rep?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Uh-huh.
Taking back the streets. We're going to
Could
reroute.
you imagine?
You know what? We're going to reroute River Road. Keep it away from the homes. I grew up on River Road.
There's a big issue. That's really finger on the
free
pulse.
candy.
Yeah. Stuff I like is going to become law. Yeah.
We're gonna
fit right in down there.
That bike path
Yeah.
on Euclid and Lake.
Yeah.
Because I fell a lot.
And make Arlington Heights pay for it.
Exactly.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Do you have redness, watering, or irritation of the eye? If so, you may have adenoviral or bacterial conjunctivitis, also known as pink eye, and you may be eligible for one of the synchronized research studies. These studies are being conducted in our area and are looking at a potential new drug for pink eye caused by adenoviruses or bacteria. Adults and children of any age are eligible to participate. In addition, you or your child must have had pink eye signs or symptoms in at least one eye for no more than the past 3 days, be interested in in taking part in a research study over a period of up to 13 days and meet additional study criteria. Participants may receive the study drug, and all study-related procedures and visits are provided at no cost. Health insurance is not required. To find out more, call 1-877-620-6125 or visit www.pinkeyeresearch.com. That's 1-877-620-6125 or www.pinkeyeresearch.com.
Keith just ran in here with the numbers. You had 59,000 votes.
That doesn't sound right.
Okay, let's round it up to 60,000.
Yeah. No,
That's great. That's a good start, Dan.
Yeah. 60,000.
Yeah.
How many people? How many? 13 million people carry the one. That's not going to be enough.
Really?
I want to tell you about the grand opening sale on Saturday, August 26th, where you can get 7 acres with a Kentucky Lake access and a brand new barn dominium for only $69,900.
I love those barn dominiums.
Yeah,
you should take the virtual tour of it.
I like when people make up new words. They're fun. Enjoy spectacular panoramic views, a white sandy beach, and marina access on one of the nation's largest and most desirable recreational lakes. You don't want to miss this opportunity. Saturday, August 26th. Get 7 acres with lake access and a new barn dominium for only $69,900. For earliest appointment and best selection, call 888-GET-LAND or take a virtual tour at 888getland.com. Excellent financing with a low down payment is available. Call 888-GET-LAND or visit 888getland.com. Do it now. Barn dominium to be built in weather-tight shell. Lakeview Realty Brokerage.
If you have pain, listen up. Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So, Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
Hey, it's coming. It's a few weeks away, the start of the new school year. And if you weren't happy with your child's public school experience, maybe get a private school. Send him or her to a private school this year. And you can do the switch for half the price, thanks to our friends at halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find a full year of tuition at half the price. There's no catch, but you need to act now because these vouchers always sell out. They have schools all over the Chicagoland area, including Mount Prospect, South Holland, Chicago, Antioch, just to name a few. So the school year is upon us. Don't wait another day, and don't settle for a public school that isn't right for you and your child. Visit halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. A corollary to Daniel Webster's incantation that the power to tax is the power to destroy is the choice to politicize is the power to pollute. The left presses their quest for control of the culture because conservatives have left so many fronts unguarded, including the arts. The left intends for all facets of human activity, even mere existence, to be forced through their identity politics prism. We get reviews by champagne socialists of Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk criticizing the film's lack of diversity. Where was the Chelsea Manning of 1940? Why Tom Hardy instead of G.I. Jane as the heroic Spitfire pilot? Nolan may have sanitized history. The left seeks to rewrite it. 2 forthcoming alternative history TV series are receiving very different pre-production reactions based on the perceived fictional treatment of blacks in each. HBO's Confederate, whose creative team includes one of the writers from Empire, is to be boycotted, while Amazon's Black America, featuring a reparations narrative, is to be celebrated. It's noteworthy that today's cultural totalitarians have abstained from commenting on the man in the high castle.
Daily stress is a big deal. Fact is, the terrible impact of stress is very deadly and shortens our lives. Stressed individuals attract diseases, just like blood in the water attracts sharks. Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. I'm the show host of Health Quest Radio, the longest-running health news and science show in Chicago. And for over 33 years, we share practical concepts from a natural healthcare perspective to minimize the need for all those dangerous drugs and